And we're on. Hello and welcome to podcast episode 137 of Rope-a-Dope Boxing. The 2 Daves bring you a review from the weekend just gone in the wonderful world of boxing. If you're new to the channel, please like, share and subscribe via YouTube and via Spotify. David boy, how's your weekend been, brother? It's been a big weekend of boxing, but have you done anything outside of the boxing world? I know you've been glued to the TV like most of us.
Yeah. No, mate, no. Just been down to my mum and dad's. I was there most of the weekend. I was home Saturday, but I went there Sunday. No, I haven't had a drink or nothing, mate, since I saw you. So
quiet one.
Yeah, it's been a quiet one. Yeah, my dad's not in the best of health, as we spoke off air.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not great times. So yeah, saw him yesterday, which was lovely. But yeah, home today, mate. But yeah, nothing exciting, mate. No funny stories, mate. The funny stories we had when we was together at Lee's wedding, which was lovely. A week or so ago, but no, nothing to report, mate. Just fully engrossed in the boxing I was on Saturday, mate. Yeah. Had it all on, watched the fights. Yeah, loved it. How about yourself? I can't imagine you didn't have a drink. So that's
I'll behave myself. I did have a drink, you know me. I never let the pod down. I did have a drink. It was a quiet drink, to be honest. I only had a couple of cans of Stella. Yeah, not a lot went on. My daughter had a friendly at the weekend. All the girls are rusty. They got smashed 7-3. So improvements need to be made. They were playing a team kind of above them in the league, if you like, going into the new season. But my kind of, if you want to call it a story, what happened today. It's the wonderful world of a curry house, if you like. Ooh. So cut a long story short, Beck makes a lovely curry, my missus, right? For a white girl, you could pass off as an Indian or a Pakistani. She makes a lovely Ruby Murray. She really does. But she said half term started now, so the kids are off trying to do things with the kids, if you like. And I'm not saying making a curry with the kids is one thing we do, but she's cooked the curry. I mean, I've gone out and got some poppadom, some naan bread, some sagaloo, bits and bats like that. Her treat. So I've gone down there on the scooter. I haven't fallen off, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. I've only had 1 pint. Well, 2 actually. Including the one I've got here will be 3. They do add up. However, popped down there, put my order in. He said, do you want a drink while you're waiting, sir? I said, yeah, go on, I'll have a pint. I said, I know it's probably take 15, 20 minutes by the time I do a sagaloo and things like that. Had me pint on my phone, on Twitter, as you do, having a look at the boxing news. Finished with pint. He was straight over. Do you want another one, sir? I said, no. I said, can't be long now, mate. It's been 20 minutes. I'll just wait. He went, another 15 minutes, he said. I went, really? I wasn't going to argue with him because I don't know what's going on out in the kitchen. He might spit me food or anything. So I went, go on then. Had another pint. Drunk that pint, another 15 minutes, fucking around on my phone. Do you want another one, sir? I went, no, I've got to go. You said 15 minutes. Okay. As soon as I said no, out he come with the food.
Daniel like it, man.
I reckon this is the old tricks of the trade. I reckon they make you wait to have a couple of pints, to spend £10 behind the bar. That food was ready as soon as I walked in there. Got to be in it. Funny how I have my last sip and saying definitely no, I've got to go now. You know, the missus and the kids are waiting. They come out with the food. It was only poppadom, sagaloo, and naan bread. I mean, I could have cooked it quicker at home. You know what I mean?
He's done me up like it,
Yes. Crafty bugs, but I tell you what, spot on. Curry houses around our way are really spot on, mate.
What did you have? Kingfisher?
Cobra. Unfortunately, didn't have Kingfisher on tap. I had Kingfisher when I went down to London to see you boys on the Friday before the wedding. I do like a drop of Kingfisher, I must admit.
Cobra's nice, though. I like a Cobra.
Yeah. It's not Indian, though, is it? It's got the Cobra name. It's got the Indian narrative, but it's actually British, UK based. It's kind of a bit like what's the Spanish one, Dave, that everyone thinks is Madry.
Madry, yeah, it's brewed.
Everyone thinks it's it's brewed in England. Everyone thinks it's from Spain. It's not.
Yeah.
Do you know the best about it? Before we start talking boxing, the best about that, the actual dupe, they call it up here, as in fake. We used to call it fake or plastic. One from Aldi. One from Aldi. Yeah, not quite, but the actual fake version from Aldi, their version of Madry, is actually brewed in Spain.
Oh, really?
Interesting fact, yeah. So Madry's UK based, supposed to be Spanish, but the Aldi version, the fake one, is actually brewed in Spain. So, a bit of pub knowledge if you want, or useless knowledge, however you want to take it, guys. But let's jump straight into the boxing, man, because there's so much to talk about, and there's only one place to start.
Yeah.
Wembley Stadium, Saturday night, the undisputed titles on the line. Oleksandr Usyk versus Daniel Dubois, part 2. 85,000 in the stadium. I mean, look, 85,000 stadium. Let's nail this, right? So we've been told in the past we need AJ, we need Fury to do the stadiums. No AJ, no Fury. We've got an Ukrainian that's away from home, and we've got Daniel Dubois, who's not really yet a household name. that are selling out stadiums, not just a Stevenage stadium, not just a Cardiff stadium, not just I was going to say hybrid then, but an Emirates, Wembley Stadium, 85,000 packed to the rafters. Those guys are gone. We don't need them anymore. You've got a guy from the Ukraine rocking in a Stow-line and fucking gown that looks mint, by the way. Absolutely fantastic. Daniel Dubois, razor shot, razor focus, ready to go in there and do damage. We've moved on. Don't get me wrong. I love AJ to an extent. I love Tyson Fury, but we've moved on. This is a new era. Or we thought it was a new era, apart from what happened in the ring. We can move on from these type of guys. But let's talk about what we saw in the ring on Saturday night, Dave. I put on my banner there, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody's listening on Spotify. Usyk undisputed for the second time was never in doubt, was it? Now, when we done our preview last week, mate, we said it wasn't in doubt. We done our previews. We gave our knockouts, whatever round it was. And I've got to be honest, Dave. I'm an Usyk arse licker. I have been since he won the Super Series. I thought Daniel Dubois, being on the run he's been on, the Millers, the Hrgovićs, the AJs, you kind of nailed it last week saying they're good wins. He has become a man, but they're not Usyk. And he has become a man, but the man he fought in front of him on Saturday night turned him into Benjamin Button. It was a man versus boy performance. Mate, he done better in Poland. Usyk has got better.
Yeah.
Usyk has got better. These people trying to find narratives of he's slowing down, 38, father time waits for nobody. I get it. Me and you have spoke about this every week about certain fighters on the pod, and I do get it. But we also said last week, mate, didn't we? We couldn't find it in his recent fights, the AJ fights, the Fury fights, the Dubois fight. We can't see any wilting in him. Yeah. Not only did he not wilt on Saturday night, Dave, he fucking grew. That was a masterclass from a classroom, from a technician. So possibly, I know it's another conversation for another day because of time-wise, we've got so much to cover, but possibly the best heavyweight of all time. He was. He's in the conversation. We are so lucky, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get me wrong. When we talk about footballers, any kind of tennis players, even snooker players, dart players, whatever sport you want to name, it seems to be we talk about players and sports athletes from the past. We're lucky to live in a generation when we're seeing greatness. Yeah. We are seeing greatness in front of our eyes, and there's no sign of him packing up. He said on Saturday night, Dave, 38, I'm only just getting going. Or I'm still young, he said. Yeah. In awe, Messiah, God, I can't speak high enough of him. I can keep rattling off kind of or waxing lyrical names to call the guy, but I've never seen a more complete fighter, especially in the blue chip division, coming up as a cruiserweight and doing what he's doing. It's mate, take it over from me because I'm getting lost for words. I've got it all in my head, but I can't get it out. The guy's he's the best ever. In our generation, he is the best ever.
An absolute masterclass, man. And you know what? For all the heavyweights, you got to feel sorry for him because he's packed on weight for this fight, and now he's sitting down in his shots, and he's taking people out. On top of having the best footwork you've ever likely to see, the best ring craftsmanship you're ever likely to see. You know, IQ. He's got a lot, and now he's adding spite. That knockout, the second one, was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And do you know what? I've seen a lot of criticism for Daniel Dubois.
Go on, let's go there. I've got a theory. Go on.
I don't think. I think it's unfair. That was a massive shot he took.
It was.
Now, I know.
I'm going to interrupt you.
Yeah, I know.
It's a massive talking point. Yeah, go on.
He got up and walked straight to his. I know.
Yeah, like he was on holiday.
No.
It looked, mate. It looks like he quit again. Let's be honest, Dave. It does, man.
I saw something today, which is not really, he didn't see it, and neither did the referee, but they threw the towel in before the count was stopped.
I didn't see that. I've got to be honest.
Don Charles, from another angle, Don Charles throws the towel in as the referee's counting. No one sees it. You can't see it from the other angle. I've seen it from this angle. I've seen it from his corner angle. And as he's counting, before he waves it off, Don Charles throws the towel. But Daniel Dubois doesn't see that. So, but yeah, I'm still not having it. I've seen people coming out and saying, he has never had heart. He's done so well to get this far. Sergio Mora said it. He's come very well to get this far with no heart. But yeah, he did just jump up. He wasn't staggered or nothing. But that was a massive shot.
You can understand why people are saying it. He wasn't vacant. He wasn't staggering. He didn't look hurt. He just got up. It looked like he was, he's strolling across the beach. Honestly, mate, it does make you think whether he had enough.
Yeah, well, listen, the writing was on the wall anyway, and that was a massive shot. The second shot was a massive shot. But prior to that, like, I think Daniel Dubois had his best round in round 3, but he still didn't win the round. You know, like the comms were going, oh yeah, Daniel Dubois, this, that. He was hitting the gloves. But I've watched Usyk, as yourself. I've seen every one of Usyk's fights. I've seen them all. He amazes me in every single fight. But you see this, even this one, I was watching it with my mouth wide open.
Yeah.
With just the shapes that he makes, and after he watched it with me, it's the feinting. See, that feinting means that his opponent's always trying to think and move,
always fighting his opponent. Yeah,
and that's how he wears them out. But he just does everything just 10 out of 10. Like it's absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing to watch. Like, I know people are now talking like, "Oh, listen, he's got nothing else to prove." I want to watch this forever.
Yeah.
I actually do. I do. It's just poetry in motion, mate. It is. It really, really is. And and you know, like, you could never get bored of it. You could never ever get bored of it. You know, like you look at fighters and they do the same things in all the fight. I watch him in awe. You know, like, he's not. I mean, he's 6'3", but against these guys, he looks just so small. But he's just got something you just can't. You're born with it, mate. You're absolutely. He's just got something you just can't. You know. You can't train for. He does train, and but he's what he's got is God given, man. It's amazing. It's amazing, and like I say, I could watch it forever. And Daniel Dubois, I said it last week. Daniel Dubois is 27 years old. Listen, against a normal heavyweight, Daniel Dubois is a problem. You know, but you're not against a normal heavyweight. A normal heavyweight, they could do the clubbing shots. It's boom. It's all power. You know, step forward. You know, who can land first with the biggest shot. But you ain't like Usyk's a class apart. But if you're looking at the heavyweights, rest of the heavyweights in the division, Daniel Dubois is a problem, and he still is. But he's just come up against an all-time great, and you know what? That's okay. But even talking about it now, it brings it back from Saturday. Like, it was just amazing. And you know what? I think Usyk came in. You know, I said Usyk. You know, obviously he packed on a bit of weight because he wanted to. You know,
So did Dubois though. Dubois was 10 pounds heavier than he did. Then he came in again when he was in Poland. I thought that was a bit odd, Dave.
Yeah, that was a bit odd. But Usyk sort of made a statement. I think Usyk wanted to knock Daniel Dubois out. I don't think
he likes him, you know.
I don't think he does. He doesn't have really a lot to say.
Don't like Don Charles neither.
No, I think for all that stuff with the low blow, and you know, I think he wanted to. That's why this fight's happened. I think he wanted to close the show once and close the Daniel Dubois saga once and for all, because no one's going to talk about a low blow anymore. And that's why he packed on the weight, and that's why he went for the knockout, because you've seen the Usyk in certain fights where he could have taken him out, and he sort of took his foot off the gas a little bit. You know, he AJ as well. He had AJ rocked, and he didn't go in for the kill. He couldn't. Like, for me, he couldn't wait to splatter Daniel Dubois, and that second shot for that second knockdown showed that there was a little bit of needle with him there, and I think he wanted to put this saga to bed. Out of all of his opponents, I don't think he likes Dubois too much.
No.
And like I say, and that showed in his performance. But like I say, it's scary he's not talking about packing up, but it's scary now that, you know, he's adding knockout power to an already great offense, great IQ. He's adding power to it as well.
Yeah.
So, oh man, he's just a machine. He's just amazing. A-star, class. And you know what as well? Yes, he's not from the UK. Yes, he's not from these shores.
The support was amazing for him.
Yeah.
Raw for Usyk, an away fighter on these shores. The UK, you're right there.
You're never going to get
that. Fan base fell in love with him. I'm not a late jumper. The casual fan is, and that's fair enough. They're casual. They dip the toe in and out. That's how it works. But the raw he got when he came out. I remember the first AJ fight at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. When he first came out, everyone was booing him. Nobody knew him. No one had a clue. Oh, AJ's going to knock him out. Didn't know anything about Usyk at all, so I kind of get it. But now they've grown to love him. He's bashing Brits up left, right, and centre. He's not just bashing them up. He's taking them to school. I've said this before on the pod, mate. I've always loved the Wilder, AJ, Fury triangle when none of them are able to get it on because of politics, because of purses, because of splits, because of promotional companies, because of managers. This little Ukrainian guy from the cruiserweight division has come in and kind of thrown it to the side, beat them all by Wilder. He doesn't need to take care of Wilder because Wilder ain't that guy anymore. Not only beat him once, beat him twice, but become undisputed, and it's getting better. It's a fairy tale that you can't make it up. And now no one cares about Fury. I mentioned in my opening gambit there, people do care, but when you're selling out stadiums, you're the away fighter. That's very telling. That is we're in such a good place in the UK for boxing when household names and non-household names and away fighters are selling out stadiums. That is so good. But going on to, Usyk is now as an Olympic gold medalist, undisputed cruiserweight, 2-time undisputed heavyweight, beat whatever's put in front of him, unbeaten. You said that you'd like to see him carry on. I'd like to see him carry on. From what I saw, people talk about Moses Atuma coming up. Turkey was on about putting him in straight away. We love Moses on there. Your prospect from last year. Don't be silly. Yeah. Let's be real. Moses Atuma is nowhere near Usyk just yet. Nowhere near him. There's no one on the planet that can match him for skill set. There's no one on the planet can match him for IQ, craftsmanship, ring championship. It was just chalk and cheese. The man became a man, Daniel Dubois, after AJ, but he became a boy on Saturday night. That's the reality of it. That is literally what happened. Yeah. And we are repeating ourselves, but let's talk a little bit about the fight, Dave. Usyk come out fast, dominate the center of the ring, that jab. You just said there, watching Usyk every time doesn't get you bored, and you're spot on because you learn something new every time. I learned from him on Saturday night. How the hell do you turn a jab into a right hook? How do you turn a jab into a right hook? That's what he done. Thinking, you ain't done that. What? Yeah. Daniel Dubois was confused. He didn't have a clue. The game plan they had with Don Charles, so that 12-week camp, was non-existent. And I've got to be honest, I'm not a massive fan of Don Charles. I like him as a trainer. I'm not so keen on him as a person because I've seen. And I know a lot of boxing fans don't like Gareth A. Davis, but I thought his treatment of Gareth A. Davis going into the AJ fight was disgusting. He's allowed an opinion. Yeah. But I did feel sorry for him on the weekend, mate, because watching, especially after the first round, he must have had an entourage, about 20 people in his corner. And Don Charles is the main guy, man. Daniel Dubois' dad is the only one he listens to. Yeah. Why the fuck are you paying Don Charles, man? There should be Don Charles in the corner telling him what to do. Your cut man, your spit bucket man, and the assistant. That's it. That is it. The poor guys. Do you remember Fury with John Fury? You said about yourself, mate, against Usyk. Fury's doing this. You've got about 18 people telling him what to do. It was the same with Daniel. He ain't got a clue. So he's coming out. What he said this, he said that, she said this, she said that. Straight away, Usyk goes, right, round 2. Let's go, motherfucker. Let's take you to school. When I'm going to take you out. I kind of felt sorry for Don Charles and for Daniel a little bit because whatever the game plan they had about 14 different people shouting instructions to him, mate. That ain't right. For an undisputed heavyweight title of the world, that ain't right. And I'll text you on Saturday night. And I'm going to poo-poo a little bit. We know how Daniel got the belt. He's an email champion. People say, yes, he beat Anthony Joshua, and then he kind of established himself to become a champion of sorts. That's correct. But let's get it right. He didn't beat Usyk for the belt. Usyk had to vacate because he couldn't fight Dubois and Fury within 2 or 3 months. That's what happened. But he's got his belt back. But yeah, just going on to Daniel's corner work, mate, and the game plan, it was shit. It just didn't work out. I thought he'd done better, even though he didn't win around in Poland. According to the judges, he won 1 or 2. But I thought the output and the desire and the will to win and try and do something against Usyk was better the first time round. Under his first time against Don Charles, it went terribly wrong. Now, is that a Don Charles thing? Is that a Dubois thing? Or is it just Usyk's he's just too good? Yeah. You just can't work the motherfucker out.
Yeah, I think it's all of the above, mate. Yeah, the problem that you've got with Usyk is that because everyone thinks he's a smaller fighter, they think that you're a big man, put it on him, put him under pressure, and you'll catch him. And they all think that. That was the narrative was for AJ too. Yeah, he's got to be aggressive in this one. Yeah, but what they don't realise is that in the end, Usyk's pushing you back. So that doesn't work. So when Dubois found out early in the fight that every time he goes in to make first shot, he's always getting countered. And Dubois can't box on the back foot. No. So he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Every time he throws a shot, he's getting caught with 2 on the way in. And that's his issue. Do
you notice as soon as he set his feet, Dave, Usyk already tagged him?
Yeah.
Before he set his feet to throw his shot, he'd already been tagged.
Yeah. And like I say,
1 step ahead.
Yeah, and like I say, I don't want to say bad things about Daniel Dubois.
No, not bad things, but let's be honest. What you saw on Saturday night, it's you're allowed to critique.
No, I don't mean that about his fighting style. I mean about his mentality as a person.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of things thrown at him, and I'm not going to throw them at him, but people say he's autistic. People say that he's got, he's a little bit slow. All these sort of things, which is I'm not a doctor. I don't want to diagnose it, but there's signs there from the things that he says and he does. I'm only going to say that,
isn't it?
Yeah, but so I don't think he can take instructions from more than one person at a time. I don't think he can take it in. Now,
that's my point, mate. You've nailed it. That's my point. How many people were shouting stuff at him in the corner after round one?
He would have been bound. His mentality of and the person that he is, I think he can only focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Now you could diagnose him with what you want, but that's the case. Because even at the end of the fight, they went over to Daniel Dubois to speak to him about the fight, and Daniel Dubois spoke, and then Don Charles whispered in his ear, "Say thank you to the crowd." He went, "Thank you to the crowd, thank you." In the most respectful way. So he can't be listening to here, there, and everywhere. That he would have been bamboozled. And then not only that, he's going in against an absolute great who sees what he's going to be doing before he's even thought about it. Yeah. And it was a mountain to climb. He got in there. He tried. He's 27. He will come again. There's no one in that division that's like Usyk. So everyone else in that division, other than Fury, because there's Fury's.
Mate, Fury's crumbled twice against him. Against Usyk, so
I'm not on about if anyone else.
Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, you're right.
Usyk aside, the only one that's got a bit of technical about him in that heavyweight division is Fury. Anyone else in that division will stand there, and try.
He's not retired, no. He's not retired, Fury. No?
2026. Well, yeah, you never know with him. But anyone else in there will stand centre of the ring and try and have a fight, and that's Daniel Dubois' best chance of winning. AJ tried it. Threw an uppercut from half a mile away and walked onto one. Everyone else in that, there's no one like, unless someone's going to come through that's got footwork like, or any type of movement like what Usyk's got.
By the way, sorry, Dave. Now you've said that. Sorry to interrupt, mate. You said about AJ. Where does that leave AJ? AJ got took apart by Dubois, and Dubois has been scored by Usyk. Where's AJ now down the pecking order? He's
fighting Jake Paul.
That's it.
That's
it. I can't answer that. You've nailed it. Fighting Jake Paul.
Just on that, we talk about Jake Paul. What Jake Paul does for women boxing is great, but if there's going to be one person that's going to take Jake Paul out of the boxing scene, it will be AJ. That's
a backward step, not commercial wise, not pencil wise. But I'm talking about where is he now in the ranking system after what's happened to what Daniel Dubois done to him and what Usyk's done to Dubois. We're talking levels here. I mean. And you've just nailed it. He's fighting Jake Paul. But this isn't about AJ. Sorry to interrupt, mate. But you mentioned AJ. I just thought, where is he after what happened to him?
I just saying whatever's left in the division is tailor made for Dubois to be champion again. Once Usyk goes to one side because of the fighting style. Styles make fights, and Usyk's style no one can top, no one can beat. So when Usyk does decide to hang up the belts and they fragment. You'll get some barn burners. You'll get some good fights. I mean, listen, let's not take away the run that Dubois was on going into this. But if you look at all the styles, they're all styles that suit him. Now, this happens in all sports, but if you're looking at what's left, once all the dust has settled, once Usyk has given it up and moved on, and he cemented his legacy anyway. Once he goes off and does his thing. There's the styles that are left in that division. He can rise again.
They're walking straight lines.
Yeah, exactly that.
Far Fury.
Exactly.
I mean, Moses Atuma can move his feet.
Moses Atuma's a lot quicker. That'd be the difference. He's faster, but he ain't been chin checked yet.
No, rest of them walking straight lines.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So listen,
it's a blueprint there.
Yeah, love it or hate it, Fury. Fury for a big man, his lateral movement, he's a nightmare for a style of someone that walks in straight lines, and that's why him and Usyk were the number one and number two in that division, and that will remain until they both retire for me. But again, I've repeated myself that you're looking at what's left. I don't saying that Agile Cabiel's got a little bit about him, but you
said last week Stratosphere. Isaac Cabiel was a world-class fighter, but we're talking Stratosphere, as you said last week.
Oh no, I'm not comparing him to Usyk. I'm talking about when Usyk's gone. I'm more talking
what's
about
left. What's
left.
Parker.
Yeah. But they're all there to take shots. And
on that though, Dave. On that though, a question for you. I just mentioned the word blueprint there. Don Charles, not so much Daniel because he's like a robot. He's told what to say. You've elaborated on that. But Don Charles a week called Daniel Oleksandr Usyk a cheat.
Yeah, that's bang out of
played
order.
on it, things like that. But the one I said about blueprint, here's what I mean. If that is the blueprint to tag him to the body, to hurt him, to make him go down, the rounds I watched, mate, whether again is it an Usyk thing, he couldn't get close because he got close to him in the first fight. I didn't see him attack the body once.
I think didn't he throw one and it was a little bit low, and you see Usyk say something about it.
He looked at the ref, doesn't he? And that's down to the ref's discretion. The ref can say, "Shut up, Usyk, get on with it." But okay, one. What was it? 5 rounds?
That was the only one. That was the only one because I was watching. I was watching. No, because I was watching for that, and I was thinking that is where I thought that's where Daniel Dubois would go.
I think that's where everybody thought he would go. Yeah.
Yeah, but he can't. He couldn't set himself to throw shots like that.
No.
Usyk, there's too much movement. Usyk does this, and then boom, boom, and then he got his head down, bang. The shots are amazing, but I say that there's just so much from him that someone like these heavyweights that's big and cumbersome, they can't keep up with that. They just can't. No. And it was great, and I loved every minute of it.
We were told he was too small to come up from cruiserweight. Yeah. Fighting like that, he won't win anything. He's a flash in the pan. He's literally proved everybody wrong. Pundits, boxers, ex-boxers, trainers. He's an Illuminati. He's a god. He's a godlike figure that we should appreciate. But obviously, we can talk about Usyk all day. We have got other fights to jump onto, but I just want to finish with Usyk and Dubois going forward. I think you kind of nailed it with Dubois, mate. He's 27. He's got a good 10 years left in him yet. Will he be a world champion again? It's probably 99.9%. When Usyk fucks off, he will be. But with Usyk, mate, he said that he wants to carry on. You said you want to see him fight. I'd love to see him fight. I don't think he's going to destroy his legacy too much after we saw Mr. Pacquiao also on the Saturday night. There's been rumours about him going and doing things with the Ukrainian national team. He's got his fingers in other pies outside of boxing. Is it the time to retire with Lomachenko? But what I will say, even though I'm a hardcore Usyk fan, I'm going to keep the same energy as I did with Katie Taylor last week, right? If you are going to box on and mandatories are called, you either have to fight your mandatories, brother, or vacate. Do not hold the division up, because Dave just said there, Dubois, Moses Atuma, Ajit Caballero is an interim champion, Joseph Parker who's an interim champion. How good you are and how much we love you, you're going to have to step aside or fight and let these guys carry on. The division still needs to carry on. So if he is going to fight, don't get me wrong, he doesn't need the belts now, Dave. He's 2 times undisputed. Nobody can take that away from him. Dash them all in the bin. Get your 50 million to fight Fury, whatever. But the division needs to carry on. Do I want to see him carry on? 100%. But if he walked away into the sunset with his good mate Loma and went to the Ukrainian national team and done punditry work over in his native Ukraine and things like that. And that's another point. That the homecoming, he's never had one, has he? People say, he's a road warrior. That's what makes him so special as well. Picking up titles on the road, things like that, which makes him one of the best all time. I know that's another conversation for another day, but he does have to move on. He does have to make a decision where he's going to go next. I mean, he said, I'm going to go and have a rest, but I'm not being funny, mate. Joseph Parker's been waiting a long time. Yeah. Ajit Caballero's now waiting a long time. Sanctioning bodies, are they going to wait for Usyk 3% after an 85,000 sellout? Or are they just going to let Ajit Caballero, Joseph Parker just fight, warm-ups, keep busy? Do you know the way I'm going down, mate? Don't hold the division up, but I know he's allowed to do what he wants to do, like Katie Taylor. But, do you know what I'm saying? But where do you, okay, to rephrase it as well, where do you want to see him go? I know you want to see him fight, but again, with the division being held up with the 4 or 5 belts, Ring Magazine included, what happens, mate? What happens next?
I want him to fight his mandatories. Like I say, there's talk of him fighting Parker. Like you said, I'm with you. Selfishly, I don't want him to retire. I want to see performances like that. But yeah, listen, I've got no problems if he's fighting his mandatories. I've got no issues with that at all. Like you said there, or he could vacate the belts. He would still get the fights anyway, and pick and choose who he wants to fight and let people do it. Joe, I want to say before we move on as well, not only is he a great boxer, he's an ambassador for the sport as well. He doesn't speak the best English. He tries, but
better than Daniel's English, Dave.
Oh yeah, that was a hard sell. That was a hard sell with him too.
Sorry, again, you're right. Again, it was a hard sell. Me with pressers and fight weeks and media workout days. All Daniel was said all week, and you said there about Don Charles whispering in his ear, demolition,
chaos,
and extermination.
Yeah.
I mean,
he learned 3 new words for this presser.
On, man. I thought he was getting better on the mic. I've said it myself. He's gone backwards.
Yeah.
What happens to Who's the Daddy and all that kind of thing? The fun being himself. Saudi Arabia's in Africa. Be yourself, man. He wasn't himself. He was programmed on the week. But yeah, sorry to interrupt, mate. But you're right.
I just wanted to say that Usyk is like an ambassador of the sport. You can see he's a family man. He loves his country. He doesn't badmouth anyone. You know, he gives everyone the time of day. I see him having photos with people. He's a credit to the sport, and not only that, he's one of the best to ever do it. So we've adopted him here like we would do, and he's adopted us. He has. He loves the UK. He said that. And he's just like they say, not only is he great at what he does, you can see he's a great person. You can see like his family mean everything to him. And he is the consummate professional. He is what you should be in a sport. You know, he's humble, you know, and his greatness is shone through, mate. So yeah, he's fantastic.
Another thing he was saying all week, which I've always said on this podcast about those Eastern Europeans from the old block, I want my belt back. He must have said it about 10 times, and all the different outlets you see on YouTube and social media. I want my belt back. It's about the belts for him, about legacy. You know, yes, he's got generational wealth, and he'll probably get even more if he carries on. Of course he will. You know, he's not going to fight for less than 50 million after what Uncle Turks and Uncle Frank's been paying him. But it's all about the belts, and I love it. Even though we don't think much of the belts, it's all about legacy. I want my belt back, and by God, did he get it? So fair play to Oleksandr Usyk. And as you said, mate, 27, Daniel Dubois, he will definitely come again. Talking about coming again, right? I've got mixed emotions about this. Lawrence Okolie versus Kevin Lerena. I know you haven't, mate. I've written down on my banner, ladies and gentlemen. Lawrence still stinking the place out. Weighed in probably a career heaviest, absolutely huge. Yes, Dave calls it manufactured weight, and he is right. We've seen him in, I think, 2 heavyweight bouts and a bridgerweight bout where he's sitting down on his shots and knocking dudes out. Yes, that level of opponent isn't up to the level of Kevin Lerena. Kevin Lerena was a step up for Lawrence on Saturday night. Joe Gallagher has come out and said that if he, don't quote me on it, but reading between the lines, Dave, he said, if I see Lawrence Okolie holding in a fight or holding in sparring, he gets fined. I want to take that out of him. And to be fair to him, there was holding going on, but there was a lot coming from Kevin Lerena. I didn't realise until Sunday morning that he had torn a bicep, Lawrence Okolie. So it didn't help his case. He won every round during the scorecards with the judges. I think the judge one of the judges gave him 1 or 2 rounds. But he started well, Dave. You could see what he was trying to do. He was using his jab. He's the bigger man, the longer man, the heavier man, the longer reach. He was using his jab, and he's trying to set up that right hand. Kevin Lerena got a bit of lateral movement to him. He's going under, bobbing and weaving, trying to get out of the way. Quite comfortable with what was coming back, landing on the gloves. And it was quite rinse and repeat, I thought, for the 5 rounds. I gave Lawrence every round. And I think second half of the fight, mate, which made it a stinker, I thought Kevin Lerena kind of thought, well, I'm miles behind now. I'm not doing anything. I can't get to him. So I'm just going to tuck up and survive. And I don't think that helped. And that's why I'm in 2 minds. I don't think it was a Lawrence stink fest. I don't think Kevin Lerena helped the cause, Dave. I've got to be honest.
The Kevin Lerena stunk the place out as well. But you can't be putting Lawrence Okolie on co-main events. This has happened before. This has happened before. Lawrence is a card killer, and he is.
I like that.
He fucking is, man.
Lawrence is a card killer.
Like I said, I've never been sold on him. I've got no disrespect to him. Listen, he's achieved way more than anyone could ever dream of, and that's not a problem.
Did you think he won the fight?
Yeah, he won the fight, but I say Kevin Lerena stunk the place out as well. And you're right. It might have been a better fight had Kevin Lerena made a bit more of a fight of it. Yeah. But he allowed Lawrence Okolie to do the same thing, jab to the body. That was all it was. That was all it was. And yes, all right, he's come out and said he's tore his bicep, and it looks nasty. And it wouldn't have made a difference because it really wouldn't have made a difference because it was that type of fight. Stars make fights. This was awful. Yes, it wasn't holding, but there was just nothing else. It's almost like he's worked on something, and then that's all he's done. Tunnel vision the whole fight. It was jab to the body, and then he just tries to throw that straight right. I can't think of any other shots that he throws. It's a stinker, mate.
You said it last week, though, didn't you? You predicted it'd be a stinker, and you were right.
Yeah,
but it wasn't all Lawrence's fault. That was a kind of it wasn't.
I'm
going to give to Lawrence.
It wasn't. But you know, he could see the way the fight's going to go. He press the fight a little bit more. Then do something different. Try and change it up. But they're just quite happy just to do the same things and just plod through the rounds, and then it becomes like a glorified spar. But there was nothing that you use it all the time. It's a grab your phone type of moments. And
what round did you grab your phone?
10 seconds into round 1. Well, I say he's like we talk about hard sells. He's a hard sell, and like I say, you know, they talk about obviously this weight. He does look too heavy. Now, Joe Gallagher's come out and said, "Well, you can't really say these sort of things. I see him on the running track. He trains like a mule." Yeah, fair enough. I'm sure he does. But I've always said he's put all of his weight around his belly, and he has. He's no.
And his face is chubby as well.
Yeah,
isn't it?
But it's almost, you know, they talk about he worked at McDonald's. It looks like he still works there. And but you know, he's gone the other way now, because now he seems too heavy. Now he seems too cumbersome. So he needs. And I'm going to copy what the Comscore guy sort of said. He needs to drop a few pounds. He needs to drop about 20 pounds and be up on his toes, because his jab's not a bad jab. The jab and the straight right is decent enough. But you can't throw that all night. And
yeah, there was no plan B, was there?
No, and he just looks too slow now. So now he's put on too much manufactured weight.
Yeah.
But again,
mate. We just spoke. I know what you're saying. We spoke a minute ago there about Usyk. You know, the belt's getting fragmented and mandatories being called. I spoke about Ajit Kabayal there being the WBC interim champion. Now, if Usyk decides to stay on and fight whoever for his WBC full championship, the number one contender is Lawrence Okolie. So if you're going to do things properly, which the WBC don't tend to do, but if they are, let's pretend they are, you have an Ajit Kabayal versus Lawrence Okolie. I mean, how does that go? Does he get closer to the body? I mean, I don't know. Does he stick the place out again? Fuck me, man.
Kabayel stops him. There's all this talk. Is he going to win a world title? Not for me. Not for me.
He's very highly ranked. To be fair, I said a version of a title, so that kind of means a regular or an IBO or a silver or a continental.
What's the global one?
There you go. Throw that one in as well.
One, which is the same as the world. The last time I checked.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, you're right. It did stink the place out, mate. So there's not a huge amount to say on Lawrence and Kevin Lorena, and this didn't get much better before round. Now I put here, guys, did Lappin get away with one? He fought Louis Edmondson at the weekend. Dave said yes. We were messaging each other during this fight, and I agree. I thought Louis Edmondson won the fight. Now, we've watched Louis Edmondson 3 times in the past. I thought he got away with one against Dan Aziz. Doesn't mean it makes it right. Here we go. Lawrence Okolie and Hughie Fury is to Dave was what Louis Edmondson is for me. I mean, Dave, you said when we were texting that he is a bit more front-footed. And he was in this fight, yeah. He was. However, that was down to Daniel Lappin having some sort of stage fright. I didn't understand what I was watching. We've watched the same amount of Daniel Lappin fights as we've done with Louis Edmondson. Daniel Lappin doesn't fight like that. He's got fast feet. He's got fast hands. He's got about 300 amateur fights under his belt. He's seen every sort of style coming up to him. He must be used to this back forward, this backtracking, pot shotting style. It was kind of, he went on the big stage again on an Usyk undercard, froze and didn't know what to do. I mean, I gave him the first round. I think I gave him the 4th round. I gave everything else to him, to Louis Edmondson. Louis Edmondson coming forward is not how Edmondson fights. So he was confident. I think at one stage, you said it yourself, Lappin, whether he was injured or not, we'll never know. He wanted out. But I think it was the 8th round, Dave. Louis Edmondson was coming forward, throwing shots. And Daniel Lappin kind of tucked up, but he threw a shot that landed to the body twice. Yeah. He didn't even sit down on a shot. And Edmondson winced and say, oh, fuck me, that hurt. Right? And it kind of makes sense why he's a back forward fighter. Lappin put nothing into it. And it's like he's gone back to his corner, had a light bulb moment and gone, hang on a minute, I'm losing this fight. I'm struggling. I just hit him with a shot to the body. He's winced and I didn't sit down on my shot. Here we go, motherfucker. Let's roll the dice. 9 and 10, Daniel Lappin looked for the knockout. Yeah. Louis Edmondson tucked up, moved out the way, didn't want nothing to do with him. And I'm not saying it's a robbery. I do believe Edmondson won, but But Daniel Lapin, those last 2 rounds, may have done enough. You've got to remember, Dave, we had an IBF belt here and a WBA belt here. 2 sanctioning bodies looking at 2 completely different things. Again, I am with you. Edmondson won the fight. But I can't take to him, Dave. I can't take to that boring style. And you are right. Yes, he came forward, but that's because Daniel Lapin stood there and done nothing. He froze. And I'm not making excuses for Lapin, but it's very out of character for a very skilled craftsman that he is. Yeah. Very strange fight. Another one, reach for your phone, crap on the undercard. But yeah, I'm not going to scream robbery because I don't think it was, but I did have Louis Edmondson winning by a good, 3 to 4 rounds, if you like,
Oh, I had him 1 up.
Well, that's even closer then. That's even closer to what
I feel like he won the early rounds, but I'm with you. I couldn't work out Lapin what he was trying to do. And like when he was when he was hanging on the ropes mid-fight, I thought he's looking for a way out here. And you're right. He hit him with 2-3 body shots in round 7 or round 8.
Round 8 was.
Yeah, it sparked
at the end of round 8.
He started to show his quality, the things that we'd seen before. Because had you watched him for the first time in that fight, because all they talked about is he's always with Usyk, he trains with Usyk and that he's this and that. Had you watched that and never seen him before, you'd think there's no way he's with Usyk. He doesn't. But towards the back end of the fight, he started to show his quality. He started to let his hands go, and he was throwing some quality shots. And it was off the back of them body shots in round 8. He started too slow. And you're right, yeah, he didn't do anything for the first half of the fight, and that's where Edmondson banked. That's where Edmondson banked rounds for me. It's only he came on strong late that it made it closer. But
I thought the stoppage was coming at the end. Louis Edmondson done enough to kind of survive or stay out the way, if you like, because he was looking for the knockout.
He was roughing him up and old manning him. In the middle rounds, he was hanging him on the ropes. I thought, here we go, it's another Whittaker moment. Twice he done it. He sort of hung himself on the ropes and he's holding onto his side and all this sort of stuff. I thought he don't want this. And but again, it wasn't the greatest of fights. It was a close fight, but it wasn't great.
Oh, it's disappeared.
And it was just a bit of a stinker. But I do feel that Edmondson probably had a right to be a little bit aggrieved. I'll be a little bit pissed, but like I say, had it gone, if it was a 12-round fight, he probably would have got stopped because towards the end of it, Lapin was coming on strong, and he was. And if the judges are giving him rounds early, which I don't think they should have done, he definitely won the last 3 for me, which probably swung it in his favour in the judges' eyes. But I felt like that Edmondson was up going into them rounds. So
I agree. It was. Staying with Edmondson, mate, before we move on. If anybody watched on YouTube, notice our good mate Micky McGrath has joined the party. He joined for about half a second and disappeared. I'm not sure what's going on with his connection with StreamYard. Hopefully he comes back. He wants to join the party. He wants to speak Usyk. He wants to speak Lakoli, and he wants to speak Pacquiao and a bit of Daniel Lapin for what it's worth. So we'll be back hopefully shortly. But sticking with Louis Edmondson for a minute, mate. Has he done anything for you? I know you said he was doing this, he was doing it, but has he done anything for you to think that he's going to do anything going forward? Has he done anything for you that you're going to want to watch him again? Because to me, I just can't. It's just I just can't take to him, Dave. I like Louis Edmondson, the man. I like Louis. Nice looking, talks well, under the tutelage of Billy Joe Saunders, can sell a fight, love it. But when he gets in that ring, you said there after Lawrence Okone's first round, you were reaching your phone. I'm the same with Louis Edmondson. I just can't take to him, mate. He doesn't really do anything wrong when it comes to point scoring and moving out the way, the sweet science, if you like. I find him boring, man. I can't do it.
I'm totally with you. I do feel that this was a little bit of a better performance, in the ones that we'd seen of him late. Like he didn't do a lot in his other fights, and that was our criticism of him. He was doing just enough. He took a few chances in this fight. He was going on the front foot. He was throwing a few shots, and so it was a different performance from him. But was it a sparkling one? No.
Not for me.
It definitely wasn't. But there was more from from him in this fight. That's the only sort of kudos I'll give him. But did it make me think? Oh wow, I'm looking forward to seeing him soon. No, there is something missing in him. But I do feel he won the fight. So it's a bit of a difficult one there. If they were ever to run it back again,
no.
But if Lapin could win it a lot easier for me. He starts the way he finished the fight. Lapping wins easy for me.
Yeah, that's why I went for KO. It's quite out of character for him, but it was a step up for both men. Let's be honest. But yeah, it wasn't. Apart from the main event on this Queensbury card, Dave, it was poor, wasn't it? Let's be totally honest. It weren't. We said this last week, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm glad the main event was what it was, but
yeah,
I certainly because I was going to go, but that undercard would have given me. I'd been talking completely different if I'd have paid to go to that. I'd have had the right up today. I'd have been loved the main event as everyone did, but that undercard didn't really do it for me. It didn't do it, not at all. That's the only thing with turkey cards. You know,
it wasn't a turkey card. It was
no, I know. That's what I'm saying, but that's what I mean with turkey cards. At least you get a decent enough undercard. But Frank, you can't. I can't have Coley as co-main. It goes.
You know, he might be main against Caballero, so you're gonna have to suck it up and review it and preview it, man.
I'll review it. I won't be going to it.
Yeah. Better cards over in the United States. Well, two better cards, if you like. Obviously, you can't turn nothing away from Oleksandr Usyk, but the PBC card at the MGM Grand, Las Vegas. That was a weird one, Dave. We didn't mention this last week. It was at the Grand. It's normally at the T-Mobile now in Las Vegas. At the MGM Grand, rolling it back for old Manny Pacquiao. Dave's been there, as he said before. I
haven't seen boxing there, though.
He's been for something else.
On the piss up.
On the piss up,
I was in the hotel next door, New York, and you can see the MGM Grand.
Yeah,
over
nice
the
venue by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Packed to the rafters, full of Pacquiao fans, as expected. We all know the Philippines stopped. The crime rate goes to 0 when he fights. It would have been the same on Saturday night. It was a turn of the legend, 8th division world champion, whatever he is, getting off the sofa after 4.5 years to fight a legit world champion in Mario Barrios. 16 years his senior, fresher, hungrier. You would have thought with Mario Barrios. We did say one of the weaker champions in the division, but you think he'd have too much for a 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao. Did Manny roll back the years? Some people are saying yes. Some people are saying no. I'm going the latter. No, he didn't. No. Mario Barrios, for me, kind of made Manny better than what he was. It was a bizarre performance from Mario Barrios, mate. I thought, watching this, they both look fit as a fiddle. Manny Pacquiao's calves are absolutely ridiculous, by the way. No, he doesn't skip leg day. They're absolutely huge. Mario Barrios was the bigger man, in height. You know, he looked fit as a fiddle. He advantages in reach and things like that. Manny, I thought for the first 4 rounds, Barrios was kind of reading the script in terms of, I'm going to let you showcase, get the old skills out, the old fast feet, the fast downs. Yeah,
he does that, yeah.
Middle rounds, let's kind of close the show now. It's going to be about Mario Barrios. I want people talking about me on the Sunday morning. He just beat a legend, if you like. More people know about me. I'll get the bigger fights, the bigger paydays, the profile will grow. Second half of the fight, I thought the brown envelopes have been involved, Dave. I thought, what is he doing? He's treating it like a spar. He's 16 years younger. Take it to the older man. Show him it's an older man's sport. We've seen him against Ugas. You beat up Ugas. He struggled with Ugas. He nearly got stopped. He nearly got stopped by a kickboxer last year. What the fuck are you doing? It weren't till rounds 11 and 12 that he kind of rolled the dice and didn't look as bait. Yeah. I'm disappointed in Barrios, 100%. I don't know what he was doing. It was like he was scared to even knock out is one of his idols, let alone box him. He let Manny win too many rounds. Manny Pacquiao second half of the fight because he was tired, but the old dog still tried his best. It weren't a great fight.
It wasn't.
But, I mean, it's a draw. What happens now? Do we get to see it again? I just said there about Daniel Lappin and Louis Edmondson. I don't want to see this again.
No way.
If it's going to happen again, Mario Barrios, man, have a word with yourself. What were you doing? He spoiled that for me because he's better than that, Dave. Yeah. When do you ever see Mario Barrios be a cautious fighter? When do you ever see Mario Barrios fight on the back foot? He's a Mexican. He fights with his heart on his sleeve. He's not the best boxer. We've always said that. But he's better than that. He comes forward, he throws shots, he throws combinations. He looked to take you out. What was he doing? Was he scared to knock out a legend? Was he told not to knock out a legend? I thought it was dire. Nothing against Manny Pacquiao. He's been allowed, whatever me and you think of it, he's been allowed to fight for a world title, 3% and all that. It wasn't about Manny for me. It's about Mario Barrios going in there and doing a job saying, look, this is young man's sport now, motherfucker. You've had your day. I need to kick on and move on. He didn't do that. And he possibly should have lost, Dave. I was disappointed in it. I really was. In Mario, not Manny.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a great fight at all. It wasn't a great fight at all. I couldn't get on with it. Manny Pacquiao does what he does, where he rushes in and throws 3s and 4s, then moves to the side, and then he's up on his toes, and he does it again. but he wasn't landing that much. But I just felt like Mario Barrios just sort of showed him too much respect. You know, I got caught up in the whole event where he just didn't perform. Now, we can't be like going around labeling.
Sorry, mate. Just to interrupt before I forget to say, you've took me off what I was going to say. You've nailed it again. You're doing a lot of nailing tonight. You could be called a carpenter. He fought the event. He didn't fight the fighter. Exactly what you said. He was too much surrounded in the event. He fought the event rather than the fighter. You're right. Sorry, Dave.
Yeah, he definitely did. For me, he got caught up in it. And it's then become a one of them sort of misfits sort of shows,
like a spar.
Yeah, where it looks like, you know, Jake Paul's playing Mike Tyson, but you can't knock him out sort of situation. Now, we can't say that happened, but that's what it sort of seems like. And it made for an awful fight because there was a lot of the old Manny Pacquiao when he does that, but he didn't
He's been allowed to do it, Dave. He's been allowed to do it.
Yeah, but he didn't land. No. He just, do you know what it was? He got outworked by a 46-year-old, this is where Pacquiao bagged the rounds for me, because he was the one that was doing all that sort of stuff. So he's the busier fighter.
Busier, yeah.
But both of them didn't really land a lot. You know, it was shit, to be honest with you, mate. I love Manny Pacquiao, like everyone else does, and you know, going back to from years ago, he was fantastic. Barrios, but Barrios, it was more about Barrios because, listen, let's get it right. And you know, there's going to be a rematch, and some part of me feels like this is what they were sort of fighting for, knowing that they're going to do it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I agree with you, but I disagree with you at the same time. Leading up to this fight, we've seen the whole Mayweather Pacman 2. And I'm thinking, oh, fuck me. Is Barrios going to get screwed on the cards? So then we get Floyd Mayweather out again to win another world title, make it 51-0. That's what I thought it was going to be. When they said it was a draw, I was stunned. I've got to be honest, I thought Manny did win it by probably a round. Yeah. Because like you said, the output was there. Barrios rolled the dice in the last 2 or 3 rounds. It was... But I'm annoyed and disappointed with Barrios. I've got to be honest. It
was an odd performance from Barrios. I can't quite work it out because listen, we've always said he's one of the weaker champions, but he can hit, he can whack. Yeah. And the way that Pacquiao sort of rushes in, he could have walked him onto one, and he didn't. So it's a strange performance, and what it does, it just sort of raises questions as to the integrity of this, which was always in question anyway, of how even Pacquiao could come back at 46 to get a world title shot. So it was always iffy anyway. But when you look at the performances as well, it sort of goes into that narrative. Now, we're not going to get liable for saying anything like that, but that's just how it looks.
Allegedly. There you go.
Yeah, allegedly. But you got people now going, like, I hate Twitter /X for stuff like this, but like, yes, Manny Pacquiao of old. He looked great. He's been robbed. Oh, and I was like, come on. It was more about how bad Barrios was than how good Pacquiao was.
Correct.
And like I say, they're going to run this back again. That's 100% they're going to run this back again. And my opinion doesn't change based on this performance, because Barrios is 16 years younger. He should win. He should win. And I know you sort of jumped in there when I said that, but it was almost like they fought because they knew they were going to fight again. And that's how I sort of felt about it. It's almost, I don't want to say staged, but it felt staged.
Yeah, it did.
But the fight wasn't great. Like I say, Pacquiao does what Pacquiao does. You know what he's going to do. Marquez walked him onto one in exactly the same way as that he bum rushes in his fight. I don't want to say bum rushes, that's disrespectful, but the way that he comes in with that and moves. He got timed by Marquez 10 years ago. Exactly. You mean to tell me that Barrios can't see that one coming? And
well, the last 2 rounds, mate, he made it look very easy. Why didn't he do that? Why didn't he do that at the start? Let Manny have his 4 or 5 rounds to showcase for the Filipino fans that have paid their money, for any boxing fan, if you like. Then think, hang on a minute, you're doing that. That's fair enough. Now it's my time. It's a young man's sport. I'm going to dictate to you. I'm going to outbox you, if not stop you. He just didn't let the trigger go. And as I said, the last 2 rounds, it was a bit bait because he was taking Manny to school, if you like. He was beating him up. He was having having his way. And I thought, well, why don't you do that first? He's reading scripts. Have you got brown envelopes? But I kind of take that back because I didn't expect to see a draw. I expected to see and the new. Yeah. After what I watched, so I don't know what's going on there. Honestly, I don't. Do I want to see it again? No, I fucking don't. They're talking about Conor Benn now. Conor Benn will go in there and he'll spark Mario Barrios. He'll show them that he's the 27-year-old and not Barrios. I totally get it. But one thing you're forgetting, guys, on about the Conor Benn fight, Mario Barrios is a PBC fighter. Now, unless Uncle Turkey's involved and unless the mandatory is involved, Eddie Hearn ain't doing no deals with Al Heyman because Eddie Hearn's a businessman and Al Heyman will give him fucking a 90-10 split. He ain't taking that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I don't even want to talk about Conor Benn because I'll tell you what, for why. Like he is because like he throws his name into everyone's hat. He hasn't won an English title, British title, nothing, and yet
he's doing the Balanga. He's being paraded because he come up and lost against Richard.
You know, like even at Wembley, he said, "Oh, the stars are here tonight," and they do all those celebrity things. Jason Statham's walked in, so and so's walked in, and they go, "Oh, and Conor Benn." I was thinking, what? The fuck is this?
Never won a title in his life.
Never done fuck all, and yet he's in the name. He does what Chris Eubank Jr. used to do: throw his name into every single hat, but fight no one. And he's become. But like I say, just going back to Pacquiao, his performance is now a smokescreen now because people are jumping on that. Oh, he's back. Like, he's rolling in the back of the years at 46.
That's a casual view.
It's a ridiculous thing to do, and. Yeah, the fight weren't great. As much as I love Manny Pacquiao, the fight weren't great. Barrios needs to have a good look at himself because he's come out of this with no credit. Now this had the potential to be a lose-lose for him because
it has been, yeah,
and it has been really, even though he's got a draw. Because if he loses to Pacquiao, how can you lose to a 46-year-old? If he knocks out Pacquiao, you knocked out a 46-year-old. You're supposed to, so he couldn't really win anyway. But. Yeah, it was no good to me, mate. No good. I didn't like it at the start. I don't like it at the end.
No. Hopefully, mate. Manny's made a couple of quid here on Saturday night, and he goes away and he enjoys his retirement and goes and does his senator business in the Philippines. And good luck to him. But again, we don't want to see him again. It's not.
Well, I get a feeling we will, though.
Yeah, we will. Of course, we will. We can't leave it alone. But yeah, it was a main event. It wasn't the best fight on the card, even though it was a great PBC card. I'm gonna have a rant here. The puzzle / octopus marches on. Obviously, we're talking about the Tower Inferno. Sebastian Vendora took on Tim Tszyu Part 2. Brilliant fight. Thoroughly enjoyed it for how long it lasts. Yes, before we start talking about did he spew it, did he quit? I'm gonna have a rant about Uncle Turkey. I love Uncle Turkey. What he's done for boxing, the fights that he's put on, the money that he's put into the game, the events he's put on. There's nobody does it better than Uncle Turks. But you're out of order for what you said about Tim Tszyu. You're bang out of order. The disrespect that you said, that what was the words he said? He doesn't deserve to be on a Ring Magazine / Riyadh card. At best, he's only useful as a sparring partner. Now, can I remind you that you had Mark Demore on a Riyadh season card? Mark Demore, and you're poo-pooing Tim Tszyu. I think I love you, Turks, but you're bang out of order. Tim Tszyu was a warrior on Saturday night. Sebastian Vendora was fantastic.
Yeah.
But Tim Tszyu grew into the fight, and that's why I was gutted that he kind of spewed it. And he did. He'd had enough. Sebastian Vendora, you said before, he doesn't use his attributes enough. And you're right, he doesn't. He got caught with a load of hooks. Tim Tszyu's kind of, I said about the guy that knocked Vendora out. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He got inside and landed the shot straight down the pipe. Tim Tszyu had obviously worked on going on the outside and throwing hooks around the guard under the head. He had loads of success. Unfortunately, Vendora was comfortable with the power. He won rounds, he had success, but the output from Vendora, the gas tank was non-stop. Tim Tszyu was actually fighting on instinct as well. He's a warrior. He didn't give up. He tried, but it was just too much for him in the end. Now he quit. Daniel Dubois has quit in the past. You've had him on Riyadh card seasons. There's a good talk that he quit on Saturday night. It was another fighters have put their head down, took a knee. Tim Tszyu, he just had enough. It happens to him. The Murtazelia flashbacks, he got knocked down in the first round. I thought, here we go, fucking hell, he's going to get stopped there. But he came through it. He came through it to a certain, I think when it stopped, Dave was at the 7th round. I think he said no. He said no mass, which I was disappointed on. But it was turned into a really good fight. You win a round, I win a round. You win a round, I win a round. Yes, he hasn't. He's not the old man. His brother's not the old man. They've got the names. We spoke last week about Campbell Hatton carrying that name, and it's a big pressure on their shoulders. Tim Tszyu ain't that guy. But I don't know, man. Turkey pissed me off. I was shouting for Tim Tszyu because he was coming back into it. He's landed some big shots on Fundora. He's got his chin up in the air. I thought, you can do this. Come on, keep going. And then into round 7, referee off. I was like, what? What's going on? What? Who's won this? Who's quit? Tim Tszyu. And he was kind of like, he was evasive in his interviews. Like, yeah, he's a tough man. He quit, Dave. He quit, and I'm gutted he quit. Let's be honest. He had enough. Whether they were Mertzelia flashbacks, whether there was an injury, and I don't want to make excuses for him. I'm gutted he quit, but I thought he was coming into the fight. I thought he looked really good, landing big shots than he did in the first fight. But yeah, your take for going from Turkey to Tim Tszyu getting knocked down, from Tim Tszyu coming back into the quitting, man.
Yeah, no, the Turkey needs to be careful. He needs, he needs to show some class.
It's naughty, I think, from Turkey.
Because you can't listen. People risk their lives going into the ring. You can't be going and saying things like that after someone's just been in the ring, and and
it was the opposite from Tom and Jerry, Dave, which he doesn't want. So
he's got the arse with Tim Tszyu because Tim Tszyu didn't fight on his cards, and there was a little back and forth. So, but it was classless, and he needs to stop that because he can't be getting involved with stuff like that. He deleted the tweet after, though, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he realised.
Someone's been in his shell and said, "Listen, you can't be saying things like that." So Tim Tszyu, he's an hard one. He is. I didn't know he quit. I thought his corner pulled him out, but no, you're saying
same difference, isn't it? Well, yeah, okay. Yeah. I take that back. His corner pulled him out, but it's more or less like Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo, Dave. I didn't say it, but I was happy to be pulled out.
Okay? Yeah. And listen, he's a good fighter. The problem with Tim Tszyu is that his defense is with his face. And this was always the issue. Now he's in with Fundora, and now you've got it there. When we said it before, he's all limbs and stuff. He's like an octopus. And where he's tailor-made for Tim Tszyu now, because Tim Tszyu hasn't got a defense. So when Fundora was throwing these punches from all mad angles and he's all limbs, he can't see it coming. But it was a good fight, and Tim Tszyu made it a good fight, which he would do. And he is that type of fighter. We talk about fights on cards, like a card builder. Now,
that's better than a card builder, that, Dave.
No, I know, but Tim Tszyu.
But I know what you're saying.
No, but you know what I'm saying. When like Tim Tszyu, he's coming off a lot of defeats now, quite a few defeats. There's miles on his clock now. But what I'm sort of saying is that like if he's a co-main or a couple down, you know what you're going to get with him. He's very much like a Pitbull Cruz, which we'll talk about later on, where he's in exciting fights. Where you could build the crowd up with him. It just depends on what he wants to do now with Tim Tszyu. But the problem with Tim Tszyu is that he's always been a good fighter, but fundamentals. That's the thing. He can't defend himself, and this is the issue.
He's a fighter, not a boxer. Is that what you're alluding to?
He is. Yeah. He is. Yeah, he is. And like I say, there is a call for that, but he takes too many shots, and that's. I always said at the start that the way that he fights, and I've got receipts for this, that. He will have a short career. I always felt that for the way that he fights. His defense is zero, so he's a difficult one because he's the type of fighter that can end up having lasting damage if he doesn't look after himself. And this is the thing. But so he's getting to the point now is that where does he go? Mertzelia, I think Mertzelia was the fight that really took it out of him. Yeah, took it out of him. And that's why you got what you got in round 8. Prior to that, he would have carried on going.
See, the name sells as well, doesn't it? You said, where is he going? The name sells.
But fighters have got to be saved from themselves. And the way that Tim Tszyu fights is he's in danger of getting hurt because he takes shots. He takes big shots. He doesn't come out, even in the fights that he wins, he doesn't come out totally unscathed. You can't look at even with Joey Spencer, he took shots in that fight.
He did.
So it's not as if he can go through fights and box and and not come out of any type of, let's not say damage, but not come unscathed. And that's the worry with him, is that how long do you go on? With the way that he goes. Like, he's exciting. He'll put bums on seats. He'll be in good fights, but he needs to be saved from himself, I believe. But I like Tim Tszyu, and I really do. But for me, like I say, he's too easy to hit, and he always has been. And now, like the fact that he's a tough man, he can fight. Very much like Nikita's the same for me.
Yeah,
they can fight. It gets to a certain point, it will get them out. It'll be enough.
They're to me, they're the opposite of the old man. The old man was a warrior, was a fighter, but he also had skills. These two haven't got the fundamentals.
No,
whereas the old man had. That's what I see. For you know what I mean.
And there's too many big punches in that division. Yeah. There's too many big punches, and unfortunately for Tim Tszyu, he just takes too many shots, and that's the problem now. So listen, we don't call for anyone to retire or stuff like that, but I don't know where Tim Tszyu goes from here, and I do think he needs to sit down with his family and and his friends and stuff, and just see where he wants to go. Now he's been a world champion. He can't ever take that away from him. But in the fights that he wants to be in, he can't defend himself.
It's not good enough. It's not good enough for the world class. Yeah. Let's not pretend he's not. He's been a world champion. He's had a few road bumps. Is he world level? Yes. Is he world class? No. We separated the classes, haven't we? We've gone world level, world class, elite. Yeah. He's not a world class fighter, and he's been proved in the last two fights. Minus Joey Spencer. If
he wants to box at if he wants to carry on boxing and box at a certain level, and that's what he wants to be, there's no aspirations to go on.
New trainer, Dave. New trainer, defensive trainer. Why not?
Yeah, well, why not? He's got nothing to lose. He's got nothing to lose. But if he could work on his defense, it could be a different story. But I just worry for him because he takes too many big shots, and Fundora hit him with a lot. But again, he can fight, and he will fight back. But he will get.
I like him still. I do like him.
Yeah, I do. But he will get stopped. He will get stopped in fights, and that is what will happen.
Yeah.
So I do worry for him. But Fundora is what he is. He's an anomaly. He is. Because he's just like he's massive. Like two,
he's 6'6", isn't he? Like that same size as Daniel Lappin, and Lappin's a light heavy. He
shouldn't get into. He doesn't need to get in scraps. He could just box behind the jab all night long. Bam. But he doesn't. He gets involved.
Tszyu caught him with a lot of hooks round the side, a lot of hooks, but he stood up to him.
Caught him flush. He took the shot as well.
Yeah. But maybe it's down the pipe when I can't think of his fucking. What was his name that knocked him out?
Oh, I know it as well, but it's on the tip of my tongue. But like I say, he's there to be it as well. But he's excited because he doesn't need to get involved in it. Like I say, we know Tim Tszyu's flaws, but Fundora can box differently and still win. But he chooses to fight, and which makes it exciting. But he throws weird shots, and he's like the Peter Crouch of boxing.
Yeah.
Like gangly, isn't he? He's gangly. He just does things really awkward, unorthodox, but exciting at the same time. So
it amazes me as well that he never looks gaunt on the scales.
I know.
They're
genetics, mate. Genetics. I say this,
and the sister.
Yeah. Sweet Poison. She's the same.
Yeah. So just quickly before we move on to pit bulls, you mentioned there. Do you think Al Heyman will give him Murtazaliev and try and make a unification? I don't think so. Or do you think he'll play safe and do what PBC do? It might give him a fucking Keith Thurman and keep it now. So the two BBC fighters keep it. I can see that. I feel a little bit sorry for Murtazaliev since what's happened to Tim Tszyu. He's become the who needs him club.
Yeah.
Because he's a banana skin. You're not going to earn a lot of money against him.
Yeah.
And he's going to knock you out. So. Yeah. How long is it now since he's fought Dave? Well over a year, isn't it? So,
yeah. I like Murtazaliev as well.
I can see Keith Thurman in-house.
Yeah, Keith Thurman he's a fucking other one as well. Just videos just keep popping up of him. Yeah.
One time.
Just keeps popping up out of nowhere, doesn't he? Oh, no, he's another one. He was fighting Clarissa Shields last time I checked.
Yeah. Pandora Shields? But Shields is out this weekend, so she can't fight.
She's heavier than him.
Yeah, she's fighting at heavyweight. She's 14-4, she is. But yeah. Everybody loves a pit bull.
Oh, definitely.
Do love a pit bull. So he was supposed to be fighting against Angel Fierro. Fierro missed weight. Rushed to hospital because he couldn't make weight healthily. Omar Salcedo, should I say, was brought in at 24 hours notice. Fair play to Salcedo for, he was obviously keeping fit. He had another fight scheduled, so he was ready to go. This is for the WBC interim super lightweight title. Obviously, Cruz had to agree to fight in a completely different style. Very good replacement. We've seen Salcedo. Me and Dave have covered him. He fought Chris Colbert. Kind of put a nail in a coffin in Chris Colbert, and we saw him in January against Andy Cruz getting schooled. But it was a decent opponent for a 24-hour late replacement, if you like. Isaac Pitbull Cruz, I'd pay to watch this guy fight. Dave said last week he's a card builder, and he is. Everybody loves him. 5'4", head down, gloves up, attack. Scorecards 99 to 89 times 2, 100 to 88. Won every single round. Fair play to Salcedo, how he stood on his feet, because Isaac Cruz knocked the fuck out of him. How many body shots that torso he must be feeling it. He'll feel it this time next month. Pitbull Cruz knocked the fuck out of him, and he's still standing. Yeah. He's so exciting, Pitbull Cruz. He's never been stopped. Yes, he's been beat. You beat him by outboxing him.
You can outbox him.
I love everything about him. There's something that just he looks because he's small and he comes out in that mask. He can't speak English. Shaved head. He's got a funny kind of look to him. I thought there's something about it. I spoke about Louis Edmondson. I can't take to him now. Two complete different fighters. I can take too much from Pitbull Cruz. I just love him. If someone said to me, Pitbull Cruz is fighting, where's I put money? Yeah. Because he doesn't do anything different.
No, it just comes out of the
traps. And you said last week, he does come out of the trap, but it's not just swinging haymakers. It's all educated pressure. You've got to think about what you're doing against it. And he is a pit bull. He fights like a pit bull, if that makes any sense. It's always come forward. It's always stalking. It's always throwing. It's always to head. It's always to body. He doesn't leave you alone. It's a shit that won't flush. I love him, and he thoroughly deserved that, and he thoroughly deserved to be the WBC interim super lightweight champion, mate.
Yeah, like I say, if you can match him correctly, you'll have barnstormer fights. Again, you're right. Listen, he's been a world champion, and there's levels, but if you put him in with a boxer, he struggles. But he's so exciting, and like I say, I'd have him on every single card because you know what you're going to get with him. Even if he isn't with a boxer, he's still on the front foot, throws like fuck. But again, you could say he ain't just throwing wild haymakers. It doesn't happen. He picks his shots. He just throws lots of them, and he's a great person to have on a card. He's a great fighter to have on a card. If you're looking at a card at the weekend and you're thinking, I'm going to, who's on there? You see Pitbull Cruz, you're like, I'm having some of that.
100%.
He's never in shit fights.
Nope.
Even when he's dominating, and this was a one-sided fight, and he just overwhelmed Salcedo. And I think from 90% of the time, the Salcedo's in the corner just taking body shots. But Pitbull Cruz, he's great. He's great to watch. Good fighter. He doesn't come out in a mask. He comes out in a muzzle.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. There's something about the guy. It doesn't, because he doesn't speak English either, Dave, which makes it. Why do you love this guy?
Yeah,
it's just a little aura about him. He's like a Mexican Nick Ball, isn't he?
I was gonna say that. Do you know what? Imagine Nick Ball was at the weights that Pitbull is, and imagine the fight them two would have. That would be Gatty Ward.
I think it'd be better than Gatty Ward.
Yeah,
I think it'd be better than Gatty Ward. They don't stop throwing the pair of them.
Imagine that. It would be like two midgets fighting in the ring. But it would be one of the best fights you're ever likely to see.
Yeah.
But I say Pitbull Cruz. Like I say, his boxing for me is underrated. Yeah, you know what you're going to get from him. He's on front foot. He throws lots of shots. Bam, bam, body shots, trying to bring uppercuts, hooks, lots of hooks. But like I say, it's not wild. He knows exactly he's accurate at what he's trying to do. He knows exactly what he's trying to do. Some engine, just pure excitement. And like the certain type of, he will bulldozer most fighters. It's just when he comes up against boxers with slick skills that he struggles with. And it's one of them things.
Fair play for Salcedo for going the full 10 rounds though.
Oh, he didn't have to.
I thought it was only a matter of time. Yeah.
He could have no masked. He could have no masked if he wanted to, and no one would have said anything really because he was getting bludgeoned.
He was. And just quickly before we briefly talk about a couple of other fights before we move on to Texas, mate. So he won the WBC super lightweight interim title there. And now we saw a face-off between Subriel Mateus and Dalton Smith 2 weeks ago, courtesy of Uncle Turks. But that means fuck all. To be a mandatory, you've got to be called. I can see Pitbull Cruz versus Subriel Mateus before Dalton gets a chance. And I'll tell you the reason why. It's a better fight. It's a shootout. They're two fighters that come forward and throw like fuck. Nobody knows Dalton Smith in the United States of America. 3% sells more for Mauricio Sulaiman in the United States as it does in the UK.
Yeah.
Dalton Smith versus Subriel Mateus, people will say, like, they said to you at the Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois fight against Chris Billam-Smith,
Mm.
who?
Yeah.
They won't have a clue who either fighters are. Go to the United States, they'll know who both fighters are. I don't think Dalton gets his shot. And again, because mandates aren't called, is Eddie Hearn going to work with Al Heyman? He'll try to, but you're talking about 90-10 splits. Ain't fucking happening.
Yeah.
So I can see Pitbull Cruz versus Super Mateus, but I can see Dalton Smith versus Super Mateus. That's all I'm saying. Plus, he's the interim champion. And to be fair, Dave, even though I like Dalton, interim should really trump number one contender, shouldn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, it should. Yeah. It should.
Yeah. Right. Oh, no, I've jumped ahead then. I was briefly going to speak about Gary Russell Jr. At Mark Messiah. Gary Russell Jr., quickly, Dave, back after 3 years at the age of 37, up at lightweight now. It's an opponent, Castenda, limited opponent, Mexican. Fair play to him, came and tried. Not much changed in 3 years with Gary Russell Jr. Still fast, still slick, still picks his shots right, knocked his opponent down and stopped him. I mean, if he's, we talk about this lightweight division at 37 years of age, Gary Russell Jr., yes, he only used to fight mandatories. The old man died back in 2022, the 500 brothers. He's the head of the family and he's a full-time trainer to his brothers now. So he's got a lot on his plate. But I like what I saw from Gary at the age of 37 on Saturday, David. There's still something there. Just keep busy, man. If you're going to be a player, I know it's easier said than done with your responsibilities, man. But I like what you see. Beautiful body shot, right? Straight to the body. Boom.
One of the body shots of the year.
No ring rust there at all. No ring rust there at all, Dave. No,
body shot of the year so far. It's got, it's up there anyway. Yeah, he did. It looked like he ain't been out of the ring.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to use it again. It's smoke screens. I don't. Yeah, it's a difficult one.
I don't think it was cannon fodder for his first fight back. I thought it was an okay opponent. It wasn't a club level fighter. It was someone that was prepared to fight back.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's always difficult because you just don't know, don't you? You start to think it's as he rolled back the years, as he and that sort of stuff, and then a couple of fights in, you think it's sort of it's a hard one to call because we know the Gary Russell Jr. of old. It was a good fight. Again, wasn't active enough over the years. Didn't fight not enough at all. But he's
fought mandatories. That was what he was called. Was he called? He was called Gary Mando Russell or something. They nicknamed him something like that, didn't they?
Yeah. But listen, he didn't do anything wrong. So we'll see where he goes. What the plan is for him. But he done everything right in that fight, and that body shot was a peach. Crippled him. He killed over. He tried to stand up straight in his back, and he killed over again. Amazing shot. And yeah, we'll see what the plan is for Gary Russell Jr. and see where he goes next. But yeah, again, it was a good performance. Didn't do anything wrong. Exactly what you want for a comeback. Yeah, good stoppage. We'll see what the plan is next and what opportunities that come for Gary Russell Jr. But see where we go, mate, with him.
Mark Messiah as well is the same. He was on the prelims. The last time we saw Gary Russell Jr. was losing to Mark Messiah. He came out and said that he had a similar injury to Lawrence Okoli. I like Mark Messiah. We haven't really spoke about him on this pod in the 2.5 years we've been doing it, whatever it is. The only thing that annoys me about Messiah is he's fast, he's fleety, he throws lots of shots. He's quite Pacquiao-esque, if you like, but not up on his toes. He gets caught on the way in a lot of times. Yeah. His defense, again, is not great. And the only times he's lost is to world champions in Ray Vargas and Brandon Figueroa. Again, if he's up at this weight as well, lightweight, I think he's ranked in one of the sanctioning bodies. I think it's the IBF. If he stays active, again, mate, it's another fight that's not active. He stays active and he's putting competitive fights and shows what he's made of. He can be a problem as well. Did you see much of Mark Messiah at the weekend?
Yeah, I watched it. I saw it. Yeah, it's he's another one that was just on the fringes, isn't he? Like you say, he's lost a good company, and I think, like you said, a bit more activity out of him. Out 2-3 times a year, he could be a big player. He won every round, didn't he? In the fight of the weekend, I don't think there was much jeopardy there.
He took a few silly shots that he didn't need to, but yeah, he was more or less he was cruising.
He was in complete control. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was in complete control when the fight cruised it. But like I said, again, he's another one with like Gary Russell Jr. I want to see him out 2-3 times a year, and you can get a real good look at him. And activity's key. Activity's key. Now, if he after this performance there, which was a decent enough performance for me, that he won more or less every round. He needs to kick on now. With July, he needs to be out in November. You know what I mean? And then again out in March. and see really kick on. Inactivities is massive here for me.
The problem is PBC don't hold many cards anymore, and that's half the problem, isn't it? They're doing one every 5 months or whatever it is, 4 months, and it's just inactivity. So that's half the problem. It's not like Queensbury and Matchroom are doing, like two cards a month. So it's a shame. And just lastly, before we do move over to Texas, I did jump the gun there. Brandon Figueroa was back out. Last time we saw Brandon, he was schooled by Stephen Fulton. He fought Joet Gonzalez this weekend. We've covered Joet Gonzalez before. Only kind of falls at the top table against the likes of Shaka, Navarrete, Alberto Lopez, Isaac Dogbo when he was champion, and now Figueroa. But I've got to be honest, Dave, I watched this fight on Saturday night and I thought he lost.
He did lose. I was going to say the same thing.
He ain't the same guy. Now he's moved up a couple of pounds up to featherweight that he was at super bantamweight. Started slow, got caught too often, rolled the dice. Back end of the fight, like Daniel Lappin did, we spoke about earlier, I just didn't think it was enough. I thought PBC done old PBC things and gave him the victory. I wasn't impressed. He doesn't look the same guy, mate. Now he's moved up in weight. Stephen Fulton, yes, I get it. Fast, slick, fleety, good boxer. Joet Gonzalez is a typical, I know he's American, but he's got Mexican heritage, comes forward and throws loads of shots. Brandon Figueroa's IQ should be good enough to see those shots coming. Just wasn't switched on for the first 3 quarters of the fight. I thought he lost. I thought he lost by 2 or 3 rounds. I've got to be honest, Dave. He's not.
I'm with you. I had Gonzalez winning it. His output compared to Brandon Figueroa, when he was mounting his attacks, he was going 2s and 3s and 4s. There was, and then slipping and stuff like that. Yes, he got. Yes, it did get. It was, it was a phone box type of fight, and it was. But I felt that Gonzalez threw more shots and more eye-catching shots. So to every Figueroa's ones, single shots and 1-2s, there was 3s and 4s coming from Gonzalez, and that was a difference in the fight for me. It was a decent enough scrap, and it was actually a decent enough fight. I enjoyed the fight.
The wrong man won.
That's put a stinker on it because it was actually a good fight.
Yeah. And
to be fair, they may run it back, and the way that the fight went, I would look forward to that. I felt that the fight was a good fight. Like I say, it was in the center of the ring. Lots of shots, not much, not much back and forth on the ropes and stuff. It was more held at the center, and it was again a phone box fight. I just felt that Gonzalez for output was the difference.
Yeah.
And but yeah, he got screwed for me. He got screwed.
Yeah, I can't see Figueroa doing a lot at featherweight. Obviously, can't make super bantamweight anymore. I think there's adjustments need to be made in the camp. And just quickly before we go over to Dallas, I know I keep saying it, but David Alan Picasso, he got the win by points against Kameda on this card as well. Unanimous decision win. Obviously, Picasso was the guy that's supposed to be fighting against Inoue before we got the MJ fight that's coming up soon. But all in all, it's a really good card on PBC. Really enjoyed it. But this one, card-wise, it was okay. I'm going to save the main event, the best till last, outside Usyk for Mr. Holland. But I've written on my banner, ladies and gentlemen, Xander Pacheco. The people think, what the fuck is he on about? I'll tell you what I'm on about. This was over at the Ford Center in Texas. Dallas Cowboys, one of their stadiums, obviously for Bam Rodriguez, the hometown hero. I've called him Xander Pacheco, as in Diego Pacheco versus Trevor McCumbee, because to me, Diego Pacheco is doing exactly what Xander Zayas is doing at the moment. We're used to seeing these guys going with a level opponent, looking good, sparking them out, and then moving on to the next one. They're stepping up in levels, but they're getting better as boxers. That, to me, on the weekend, was a potential bananas against McCumbee. And you said it last week, Dave. We'll find out how good McCumbee really is. Was it the night of his life against Caleb Plant, even though he lost? Yes, he put Plant down. He gave him all sorts of problems, but did get stopped in the end. McCumbee couldn't get near Pacheco, and that is the best boxing performance I've seen in Pacheco. Now, people were booing after round 5. That's a casual boo. If you're not appreciating what Diego Pacheco is doing with his feet, his range fighting, his jab, his shot selection, and his trap setting, you don't know what you're watching. You are a pure casual, because that, to me, was near perfect what he performed. Yes, he rolled the dice right at the end, trying to look for the knockout. Didn't need to. He won every minute of every round. There was a clash of heads early on. It didn't help McCumbee, but McCumbee was well out of his depth. Out of his depth. I thought Pacheco was brilliant. I appreciate everything he does. Yes, I'm a hardcore fan. I do think he's the best 168er outside of Canelo. But he's turned into Xander Zayas. But now they are both turning into not just knockout artists, but well-rounded fighters. Their feet have improved. Their shot selection's improved. Their range finding's improved. Their navigation to get in and out's improved. Everything is improving the two guys. And the two, I think Robert Garcia's Pacheco's fighter. They need a lot more love and a lot more appreciation from what they're doing. Yes, Pacheco's 9 times out of 10's on a main event card in an arena in the United States. But obviously, it's going to be second fiddle to Bam, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I can't take any, bar the knockout, Dave. To me, that's a B+. I thought it was brilliant. From a boxing performance, I thought it was brilliant on the weekend. But other people have seen it different ways. They're expecting Pacheco to just go in and spark dudes left, right, and centre. But it's not going to happen. Usyk don't do it. He scores dudes, but he don't knock everyone out. So, I again, maybe there's bias there, Dave, but I thought Diego Pacheco was brilliant on the weekend. McCumbee probably did have limited successes against Caleb Plant, but it was well found out on Saturday night here against Pacheco, mate.
Oh, yeah. They were classes apart in the end. The jab was a massive factor. Diego Pacheco's jab in this fight was clear for everyone to see. The boos, you're right. They are casual boos. I do feel like it became, and this is
to be honest, sorry, mate. American fans are hard to please, but I get that. But it wasn't worth booing. Come on.
No, I wouldn't have booed it. Listen, it was a good boxing performance for Pacheco, but he made it look so easy in the end that, again, I've mentioned this earlier in the fight. I mentioned it quite a lot. It did become more like a glorified spar. And the only reason I say that is because Pacheco stuck to his boxing and just boxed his way to a 12-round decision. But McCumbee couldn't do anything. He couldn't nullify it. And Pacheco just worked his way with the jab, and pot shotted and picked good shots. I would have liked, he did roll the dice towards the last couple of rounds of the fight. I do feel like the stoppage was there, and it could have been sooner should he wanted to do it, and that's a good thing for Pacheco to have. Now, I've spoken about the need for rounds in your progression in your career.
He's getting them.
And he's getting them, and that's fine. Listen, you ain't going to please everyone all the time, and that's okay. He's shown a different facet to his game there, where he's shown that he can box. And listen, when you go into with real world level fights, where you've got to change up 2, 3, 4 game plans within a fight, Diego Pacheco in the fights that he's doing is showcasing all these different things. So he's put on a boxing performance in this fight. In the fight before, he's knocked someone out. There's going to be times when he goes in with pure class that he's going to have to change it up mid-fight. And now, for me, this is what is the sort of thing that he's working towards. Now, I feel like he could have changed it up in his fight at any time he wanted. And I feel like the stoppage was there, and I feel like he could have got it. Selfishly, I would like to have him to have done it because, we all
want the highlight reel moment.
We all want that, but I can't criticise anything that I saw from him in this fight. I thought the jab was a beautiful jab. McCumbee was a head clash in round 2. McCumbee struggled with that, but McCumbee just couldn't get on the inside. He couldn't nullify that jab, make it close, turn it into a dogfight. He couldn't do any of that. He was dangerous in the first half of the fight against Plant. I think Pacheco was very aware of that, and boxed his ears off. And like I say, it did, but he made it so easy that for me it turned into a glorified spar.
But don't you take the positives out of it in terms of Pacheco's early career? He would have quite happily hooked with a hooker. Now he's seeing shots coming. He's moving out the way. And he's waiting to catch you on the way in. You can see the changes. That's what I'm saying. You can see the changes in front of you as a boxer. And I think the same as that's why comparing in Sanders' eyes. They're doing exactly the same. They're on the same path with different weights.
Well, the thing is as well. But listen, we can't talk about someone not taking shots and not getting involved and stuff like that, and then talk about Tim Tszyu taking too many shots. Tim Tszyu would love to have been able to put up on performance that Diego Pacheco has just put on there. We talk about unscathed. That's exactly what Pacheco has just come out. Yes, we're talking different levels. He's been in a fun door who's a world champion. Trevor McCumbie's not that. But at the same time, Pacheco is proving that he can do it all. He can box, he can fight, he can do all these sort of things. Tim Tszyu can only fight. You know what I mean? So, I've got no issues with this performance at all. And for me, it's building for a bigger picture because exactly. And I say, listen,
you want Shiraz next?
I want Ben Billy.
You want him Billy? Yeah, he's been ordered to fight. Who's he been ordered to fight?
Shiraz.
Is it Shiraz? Is it?
They're talking about Shiraz and Billy. I like him, Billy, and I'm telling you there. and Billy comes straight forward. You know, so Pacheco's going to have to box because if and he can fight and he can turn it into that type of fight, and if he does, it'll be some fight. But with someone coming straight at you like Billy's going to, with like plenty of movement and these hooks, bam, bam, Pacheco's going to have to be on the jab, you know, offsetting him before he starts to throw these shots to win the fight.
Yeah.
So,
and on Saturday, he showed he's halfway there.
That's what I'm sort of saying. You know, you see different performances, different styles in different fights. You're building for the complete performance, which you will need. Which you will need when you go in with world level sort of guys, where you know it's not working in the first 6 rounds. Right, try this, and you're trying different things because you've done it in other fights, so you know you can do it. You're not learning on the job, like in that type of fight. He is learning on the job, but he's using different opponents to try different things. That's how I felt about that performance. And he used a boxing performance against Trevor McCumbee, and Trevor McCumbee couldn't live with it. He couldn't get under that jab. You know, I don't even remember him really landing the shot. I think he threw a few wild ones at times, but
they said it was out of desperation. It's almost instinct. Can I land something just to make it competitive? I thought.
Yeah. But it was a good boxing performance for Pacheco. But it's almost like Pacheco's doing this for something greater.
Yeah, I still want Shiraz, and I'm not, you know me, mate, I'm not a huge Eddie Hearn fan, but I'd love to see Pacheco, Shiraz, and kind of Eddie get one over on Shiraz with Pacheco, because I'm high on the guy. But there's a lot of options. You said in Billy, Plant's still there, Munguia, Shiraz has obviously entered 168 now. It's a really good division, just like the lightweights. But we'll move on to the main event. I've had a message from old Micky McGrath. He said he's coming back on right at the death, so he's going to give his input for what it's worth on Usyk and a couple of bits and go into a bit of news. But I'm going to let Dave take over now. I've put on the banner, ladies and gentlemen. When do we replace Crawford or Inoue with Bam? Obviously, the World Superfly unification fight at the weekend. Jesse Bam Rodriguez taking on Puma Cafu, unification, champion versus champion. The hometown hero, you know, looking to add to his legacy, not just as a legend, you know, as in a legend and a legend killer. He's beating prospects. He's beating contenders. He's getting better and better and better. Dave, it's your favourite fighter. Take it over, brother. Just quickly, for anybody that's listening on Spotify, our good old mate has finally made it, Micky McGrath. What was your alias, Paul, when you came on last time? What was your boxing alias?
Magic Micky. Magic
Micky's
McGrath.
back on. Better late than never. Dave's just to give us our rundown on his favourite fighter from the weekend, Bam Rodriguez. And you can tell us all about what you saw against Usyk, Daniel Lapin, a bit of news and everything, David McDonald. Dave, take it away, brother.
By the way, Paul's dance moves at Lee's wedding were magic. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Bam Rodriguez. I mean, it's hard to put into words. That's just how good he is. He's 25 years old now. He's a legend. He's a legend slayer. Going into this fight, he just goes into fights and you just feel like he's just got the lot. I'm going to go on about the pivot. Now you know what I'm talking about, Dave. That pivot that he does is amazing. Where he throws shots, then he goes to the side and he throws a hook. It was another masterclass against Puma Cafu, who is a champion in his own right. And he just, Bam Rodriguez just makes everything look so easy. When do we replace him with Crawford and Inoue? It's difficult at the moment, but he's knocking on the door. And he's just getting better.
If Crawford loses to Canelo and Inoue loses to MJ, he fits in straight away because he's got Martinez coming up in Riyadh and he'll be undisputed champion. And then I said it to you when we spoke on Saturday. I don't care about Chocolatito anymore. I don't care about the other champions. I want Nakatani. That's wankable. I need Nakatani now because there's nobody else that can touch this motherfucker down at these small weights. He's too good. He's getting better. He's taking out legends. He's taking out contenders. His feet, his range control, his uppercuts, his spite. Mate, I understand why he's your favourite fighter. If he's not top 3 yet, he's top 4.
Oh, like I say, for the way he's going, he'll be number 1 in the pound for pound in the next couple of years. Usyk's going to go. You know, they're all coming. Crawford's 38. It's you know, Bam will be number 1. He's like you had it there. He's got a lot. His footwork.
He's already a multi-weight world champion, Dave. Yeah. 25. He's already a multi-weight world champion. It's scary. Yeah.
He's and like you say, he's getting better with every fight, and he's another one that I watch in awe. Like I say, you watch his feet. He sits down and he shots. Like he looks like a librarian. But he gets in the ring and he's an animal.
Yeah.
And again, this was another masterclass against Puma Cafu, who, to be fair to him, stayed in there longer than I thought I expected him to, because he was under some heavy artillery.
He got beat up for 10 rounds. I mean, the towel came in, but it was on the writing was on the wall. The shot that ended it was vacant. It was leg spinning round. Yeah,
he's amazing. Like he ain't just my favourite fighter. He's going to be everyone's favourite fighter at some point in time.
Eddie's best fighter, Dave, at Matchroom, would you say?
Yeah, I would say it's his most exciting. Yeah, but like I say, because he's so exciting and he's knocking dudes out, and I think people, again, we talk about boxing skills. I think that that's being overlooked with him. But again, that pivot that he does is amazing. Someone highlighted it earlier on. I was watching it again, done it in slow motion, where he just slips it to the right and bang. He's got his own sort of style, his own niche, and he's just got a lot, mate. Like I say, these lower weights, they don't usually get a lot of kudos, but he's repping for the lower weights, and the sky's the limit for him. I just can't. You just don't see anyone beating him. He's and for me,
for months.
And for me, it looks like he's got more gears as well, because he's making it look so easy. No one's putting it on him where he's having to bite down on the gum shot. You haven't seen him, have to do that as of yet. He's just got a lot, mate. I absolutely love him, and it's another superb performance.
And his next fight been announced as well, isn't it? Martinez.
Yeah, Martinez
in Riyadh. Yeah, that's the other champion in the division. He beats him. He's scooped up another title, and that's I mentioned there, Paul, about Nakatani. From the weight division above, there's only kind of two that's really super fights, if you like. We was waxing lyrical about Inoue Nakatani. Inoue's got business to do with MJ, but I need to see this now. He was fantastic. Have you seen much of Bam Rodriguez, mate?
I watched his fight last night. You gave me the rundown.
Nice, go on in.
Fights. I hadn't seen much of him before. I was shocked he was American, and that might sound silly, but his style.
The name, yeah.
But also his style, like it's very Mexican, maybe I would say, or South American, the way he boxes. I've only seen him on that fight, and I thought he was fairly impressive. The pivot you were saying, Dave, I agree. Don't know enough about him. He's not. I'm a Nick Ball man, as we all know. That's my boy. But I think what you've all said just summed him up pretty perfectly there. He seems like he's going to be a dominant force in that division, and going to be hard to be beaten, I would say.
Have you seen enough of him to go back up to watch his next fight? Would you go and watch him again?
Yes, I would definitely watch him again.
Yeah, that's what we like to know. Yeah.
Yeah, he's entertaining. He's got something about him. You can definitely tell. Not early, but for a casual like myself, I feel like even though he's 22-0, I'm still not getting in early. But it's kind of now I can see what as a future division. You can see in the next 10 fights he's going to be quite dominant in that division. If not, do you think he'll go up a weight? Is that what the next challenge with him will be if he wins the next
Nakatani's at bantamweight, so he's got nothing left at flyweight or superfly. He's the multi-weight champion already, fly and superfly. So bantam's the next thing. So Nakatani is the guy. I mean, Dave, what do you think? We both love a bit of Nakatani. I know you want a Inoue Nakatani, but going on recency biased, I want Bam Nakatani, man.
Yeah, I mean, both of them fights would be fantastic, mate. They're both super fights in their own right, but yeah. Bam Rodriguez and Nakatani is a super fight. It's one of them fights that you get up at 4 a.m. for. It
doesn't go 12, does it?
No, it doesn't. No. Again, we talk about phone box fights. It'll be one of them because they both throw like fuck. They both hold center of the ring. They both got spite. They both got speed. They both got power. That's a super fight, that is. But yeah, the only thing that worries me is that we may miss that one because Nakatani's got to move up to fight Inoue, and I think that's the plan, isn't it? So they may not cross paths, but yeah, it'll be a great fight nevertheless.
Right. So that was Paul. You've come in at the right time, really. I know we'd have rather had you at the beginning, but that was our last fight of the reviews. So let's do this properly, brother. You've come on to talk Usyk on the undercard. Let's jump in. We've put there on our banner, mate. Usyk undisputed ×2 was never in doubt. Give us your take, mate.
Well, what was I to say? He's the British destroyer, isn't he? Really, just fucking lined up. I said the next fight should be all of them lined up. It should be one after the other. They have to go like a gauntlet match. So it's Usyk versus Fury. Then he knocks him out, and AJ comes in, knocks him out. Then whoever else.
Very WWE like.
I want to see some innovation now. Now TKO and the Sheik is now on the Sheik, but Uncle Turk is like all the money. Let's get a gimmick going because the only way you're going to beat him is either father time and he goes on too long, or there's going to have to be a change in the rules. About you beat the man. What is it to say? I mean, it's just.
What was your predictions before the fight, Paul? I know we spoke on WhatsApp tongue in cheek. You were saying, "Come on, Daniel," but what was your initial thoughts pre and after?
Usyk between 7 and 9 is what I backed on the bookings. I thought that was. I didn't think Daniel had to go in the first 5 rounds and knock him out, and I think that's because of the power. You think you had to go 5 rounds. Say again, sorry, mate.
They all try that. They all think they're going to go in there just bulldozer him. And but it never works.
When we've all seen that, Fury, who's come out and goes, "I've beaten before" and all this shit. You can't go to distance. He's too mentally strong to beat him over the 4 rounds. What I was surprised at, and I think this is the statement, not a statement that he needed, but I always doubted his knockout power in the heavyweight. I think we all had some questions about that.
Yeah, Dave mentioned this. You're right.
There was no doubt now. The man has knockout power to go alongside everything else. I think if this fight was 18 months, 2 years ago, I don't think he had that knockout power because he's now settled at that weight of being at this heavyweight. I think he's now, his improvement in...
He's grown into it.
He's gone into it, exactly, yeah. So now you're thinking, so not only can you not outbox him, you can't brawl with him, and now you've got to think, is my chin solid enough? Because they're the 3 factors that you've got to look into now. I don't think that it was a masterclass, really. And I like Daniel. I think he's done well in the last couple of fights. But again, the people he beat, they weren't... Let me ask a question. I don't think go into news a little bit because I was thinking about it the weekend. The last 5-6 years of heavyweight boxing in general has been reclassed as some of the greatest because you've got all the big super fights happening. You know, AJ versus Usyk versus Fury, and they're happening quick. And Usyk's done amazing to knock them all out and beat them all. Whatever happened came his way. So I'm not discrediting Usyk. But is the heavyweight division just a bit shit? Like, if you go back to the peak 80s and early 90s, I'm not saying that nothing from Usyk because he's beat what's been put in front of him, but I've never thought Fury was as good as people made out. AJ has been proven he's just a big bloke who had heavy hands. Then outside of that, you had Wilder who just had a one-punch windmill. Usyk's the most complete boxer in the heavyweight division. Is there anyone even close to him, do you think?
Well, Dave, you spoke about that earlier, didn't you? He's on a level of his own. We speak about world level, world class, and elite, and obviously he jumps into elite. But I know what you're saying, Paul. I've seen all the sound bites on Twitter. They're comparing him to Muhammad Ali, and I think he does hold his own in any era. But then you're on about the other fighters in the era, the resume. Muhammad Ali's resume was a lot more solid. Obviously, the activity, the size of the fighters, it is a good debate. I know the narrative you're going down, but you're right. He can only beat what's put in front of him. But what kind of stands out for him for me, mate? He wasn't even mentioned. He was a cruiserweight fighting in the Super Series when Wilder and Fury and AJ couldn't get it on between themselves because it was for purses, for splits, for A sides, B sides, avoiding each other. And he's kind of come and broke the mold. He's not just broke the mold. He's kind of beat them all. Forget Wilder for what that's worth, and become undisputed for the 2 times. And you just said there. Now he's not just schooling people. He's knocking dudes out. At 38, he's getting better. His legacy is not even finished yet. Do you know what I mean? But when you're talking about the fighters he's been up against, you're right. There is a real debate against the fighters he's fought and against other fighters from the 80s and the 70s, you know? So
yeah, but you can always...
It's a good point, Dave, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But you can always do that, though. But what you've got to remember is the era we just had before that. Where the Klitschko brothers, where they held up the division for 10 years. There was no one that could get close to them. You know, the people in their division just weren't good enough. Now, we could do that about every decade because you can go and scrutinize everyone's resume. Now, you can scrutinize Mike Tyson's, and you could. We could sit here and debate Mike Tyson. Now, Mike Tyson's going to go down as an all-time great, but
I think the Jake Paul defeat kind of screws his legacy up for that.
Yeah, but the 100 million would have softened the blow. But like I say, he lost to Lennox Lewis. He lost to Evander Holyfield. He bit his ear. He lost to Buster Douglas. You go through the name. Can you think of any other superstar names that Mike Tyson beat in his reign as world champion?
Bruno is the only one off the top of my head without boxing.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go.
On WhatsApp with Graham before, I think in the past, I don't think he is an elite boxer. I think Tyson is okay. He's an iconic, broke the mold at the beginning, the raw power. And I think if he didn't have the crime and the poor management, I think he might have gone on to be obviously in world boxing. Everyone loves him, and I get the thuggery about him and the style that he brought. But in that era, as you just said, Lennox Lewis, Holyfield, Mike Tyson, I'm trying to think of some more names. My mind's gone blank now. Bruno. There was so many good boxers in that era of boxing. So just to stand amongst those people was difficult. And as I said, there's nothing against Usyk, because I think Usyk, as Dave said, could have gone against any of the. I think
he holds his own in any era. Yeah, whether he wins is
he
another
does.
conversation. Yeah,
but I think what Paul was sort of trying to get at is that it's the levels that his opponents that he's had in this era.
Yeah, and as I said, I think you put Usyk in the 90s or the 2000s. I think he does what he does because technically he's superb. So there's no argument about that. But I just started thinking, the heavyweight division, we've been spoiled over the last 5 years with all these multi-fights. And I think it goes to show the reason why these fights were avoided is exactly because of this reason. Because when you start having fight after super fight after super fight after super fight, you get to see actually these guys aren't as, no discredit to them, but they're not as good as they make out. When you handpick 10 people and then they have the one super fight and then they win that, it's like, he's beat all these people. I just think that we're going to have to get used to a big change in boxing now. And we'll go on to that in the news with the new pay-per-view model that we'll come on to, I'm sure. But yeah, so never in doubt, mate. I think he was right. Usyk was always going to win that fight. I thought Daniel had a puncher's chance, but he didn't even have that in the end. He literally nothing.
Just quickly, Paul, before we move on to Lawrence Okoli for you, Usyk going forward, what would you personally like to see him do next?
I mean, that's
carry on, hang his gloves up. He's got multiple, he's got generational wealth now.
Hanging the gloves up thing, as he said, 38 is young. I don't want to see him hang up the gloves because he's not. 38 is not old in this sport anymore.
9 times out of 10 it is. 9 times out of 10 it is, but you're right.
But not anymore. With technology and with training and with all the rehab they've got now, it's completely different to what it was 10 years ago.
And he lives a life,
Exactly. So, and he's a dedicated pro. He's not going out having a piss up and then having food and coming back and then dropping weight. So 38, I think he's probably got the biological body of a 28-year-old. So I think he's got another 6-7 years in him quite easily. The problem is who does he fight? Because we've seen Fury twice. Do we want to see it again? No, I don't particularly want to see it. I would rather him fight someone he hasn't fought, so that like Parker, because I would rather see that fight again. I would rather see him fight someone else that he's beat everyone twice. Do you want to see that Chisora was being mentioned again? It's like, really? Do we want to see? It's a pointless, and that's the problem he's got. He's got so good. What you need now is someone that no one knows about. Yeah, Rocky moment who gets called up. That's someone gets injured. He comes
John Jones crossover. Paul, are you up for that crossover? He's got nothing left to prove. He's completed the game.
Just be destroyed, absolutely destroyed. But I think it's I don't know where he goes. I mean, they're talking about Fury again. I thought both Fury fights are pretty boring and. Not great.
You're right.
Yeah. I don't think there's any doubt in it. He's come out now going, I beat him twice. It was a robbery just to try and get the clicks on. AJ obviously hasn't got it. I don't know what. There's no. It's impossible. Maybe go back down division, drop back down, and do something there, or have 2v1 as I said earlier on.
Yeah, you're right. We didn't speak about that, Dave. Paul's nailed it there a little bit. He spoke about going back down and being 2-time undisputed, didn't he? Trying to get Jai Bataille fight. So it's an option, isn't it?
Yeah, that would be a good fight. That, yeah, and I know he's packed on a lot of muscle and he's put on a lot of. He's like you, Paul said. He is now a fully fledged heavyweight. So could he get down to cruiserweight? That might be difficult now.
Yeah. Right, undercard, mate. You've watched the undercards. We've put there Lawrence Okoli still stinking the place out. What was your thoughts when you saw Big Lawrence? Manufactured weight, Dave's called it, and I think he's right. Got the win by unanimous decision, won every round. When did you reach for your phone? Because we reached for our phone about the first round, I think.
Well, he came out massive, as you just said, quite right. He was a lot bigger. He packed on definitely a lot of weight. I mean, he dominated with a jab and controlled the fight, but his ability to compete with he's never going to compete with the elites, is he really? I mean, he's not even close to that level. So again, he's kind of almost like a journeyman, just taking the fights and doing what he needs to do to get out. But they're not entertaining fights, but they're not really pay-per-view fights, really, mate. I'd expect to see a fight like that. It's like you see the local York Hall or something.
I like your language. I like your language.
Yeah, Weatherspoons.
Weatherspoons. Yeah. The low punch volume was quite. I thought that would be quite a high punch volume with Lawrence Okoli. I thought it'd be loads of punches, getting some through. But he just seemed to, after about the third round, just seemed to hide behind the jab, and that was it. It was pretty boring. I mean,
it was boring. Yeah.
Stuff, but I thought the whole undercard generally was pretty poor. But no, I don't know where he goes next, because where does they were talking about him having fights, and I was like, really? There's...
Well, you're right. I'm glad you asked that question, because he's actually number one contender now in the WBC. So you've got obviously Usyk holding the belts, whatever he does, whether he vacates or they gets fragmented. But he's number one contender. So if he fights the interim champion, Ajit Kabayel, and beats him, which we don't think will, I'll ask your opinion as well, he'll be number one contender to fight possibly Usyk. So that's how mad the boxing world is, Paul.
Well, then you would need 2 versus 1, wouldn't you? He'd need a tag partner. You'd have to tag people in and out of that fight, because there's no way. I mean, Usyk might as well just put his feet up and sit on the ropes, like, Heartbreak Kid used to do. Just sit up there, let him come and just jab him like that, because he's so slow and so easy to read. It's pointless. But that's where you're going now. What's the point? It's become, again, you've got all these super fights, and now it's become what's next for everyone. Because there's not much now to make the division heavyweight division fun, because there's no one there that's got any real interest in fighting. So I think they've got a big problem at the moment with the heavyweight division. I think they've gone through all the big fights in 2.5 years, 3 years, and none of the fights that we wanted originally 3 years ago were your Fury versus AJ for undisputed, when Usyk wasn't mentioned.
Yeah, AJ Wilder.
AJ Wilder, all the fights that were supposed to be the elite fights, none of them happened because it wasn't managed. And I think this is going to be a problem now, because at the end of the day, you've talked about your flyweights and all these other bantamweights. Pay-per-view sales and the big numbers go to heavyweights. Always has done, always will do. Yeah. But I think the interest in the heavyweight divisions is peaked now, and there's a big struggle. Someone needs to come through and do something different. I don't know who that's going to be.
It's definitely not Lawrence Okoli, mate. That's a fact. And obviously, Daniel Lappin, Louis Edmondson, it's not going to be those two guys either. I mean, I put there, mate, did Lappin get away with one? I'm not. Dave doesn't like Lawrence Okoli. I don't like Louis Edmondson in this fight, but I did think he'd done enough to win. Well, how did you see this fight against the Ukrainian, mate?
I had it as Edmondson win as well. I did. I thought he edged it. They called it as a chess match. It's going to be a chess match of boxing. I didn't find it it was technical, but I didn't find it you couldn't follow along what was happening. There were some entertaining bits at the early parts, but it became a bit of a wrestling fight in the middle, going over the ropes and a bit of like holding. I didn't think it was a great outing, but I thought Edmondson did just enough in it. For me, I thought he should have had the majority decision, but Lappin obviously got away with one. I think that was a fair point there, mate. I would say, yeah, he got away with one there. But that's what you do when you know the judges' scorecards. That's what happens.
Yeah. Dave, do you want to add any more to that, Lappin Edmondson, or have you done your bollocks on that one earlier?
I've done my bollocks on that one earlier.
Well, last one. I know you've watched the 4, Paul, haven't you? Obviously Barrios against Manny Pacquiao. Now, we've said our piece on it. You know, the legend coming back after 4.5 years on the sofa, getting a world title shot, whether you agree with it or not, against a legit world champion, against Mario Barrios. It wasn't supposed to be this way. We predicted, and a lot of the boxing world thought Mario Barrios would have too much for him. Don't give him any respect. Let him have a little bit of a dance, bit of a showcase for the Filipino fans. Put on a masterclass at the end, knock him out. It didn't go that way. Me and Dave said it was a stinker in terms of Mario Barrios being absolutely rubbish. He doesn't normally fight like that. How did you, just before you elaborate on the fight, mate, what was your initial thoughts of Manny Pacquiao getting a world title shot, him coming back after 4.5 years and being finished and all that kind of jazz? What did you think, mate?
Two things. In your pre-show on the preview, David mentioned about, blood on their hands and all this other stuff about, giving him a license almost at their stage of 46. But I disagree. I getting a world title shot's a bit stupid. I don't. That was silly.
Yeah, he's not paying sanctioning fees, so it goes against the grain.
Yeah, exactly. But if that's what he wants to do at 46 and he's fit and he's healthy, then I think I'm for it. I think this whole age thing, as I said earlier on with Usyk, they're not that age that 15, 28 years ago, they would have been that age, but he keeps himself in phenomenal shape. I think he still showed between round 7 to 9. I think he outboxed him for 3 rounds. I thought Manny Pacquiao was brilliant for 3 solid rounds. I haven't seen Barrios before, so I don't know how good he normally is. But I mean, if you said to me which one had come out of retirement, I wouldn't have said it was Pacquiao. Over on between rounds 7 and 9, I would have said it's the other way round.
Yeah, well, Barrios did fight like he was in retirement, to be fair.
I mean, it was a good outing by Pacquiao. Could he do it again? I mean, if they fought again, it's one of those classics, isn't it? Did Barrios really give himself the training camp? Did he really bother? Because he's thinking, well, same as you guys said, he's blood in his hands, he's 48, he's going to get smashed. Maybe he didn't put as much effort in, and that tiger come out at the end. And at the end of the day, sometimes class just always comes through. And I think that's what Manny Pacquiao did. It was a great comeback after what 4.5 years away, was it? I think we said was it that right?
Yeah,
he was sharp, energetic. Yeah, I thought he he put in a great performance. Do I want to see it again? Probably not. No, you want to see the younger people coming through and take the spotlight. But at the end of the day, he puts bums in seats and money on the pay-per-view, and that's all that these people care about, unfortunately. So, decent out of him.
Yeah. Well, the more worrying things we elaborated last week was, mate, we last saw Manny Pacquiao last year in an exhibition. An exhibition, you're not supposed to knock anybody out. You're supposed to make silhouettes. You go, I go, you go, I go. Everyone pays the money to go home happy. He nearly got stopped against not a boxer, against a kickboxer. And that kind of nailed it for us, you know. And obviously Mario Barrios didn't do what he was supposed to do. And that's one of the things. Dave, put thoughts on what Micky was saying there. He makes points as well, but I still believe Mario Barrios was he treated him more like a spar. He fought the occasion, like you said, rather than the fighter, you know. He's in awe of a legend.
Yeah, no, it's great to hear a different point of view of it.
Yeah,
you know, like suppose Paul's come out and he doesn't know much about Mario Barrios, so he's looked at it as if that Manny Pacquiao has had a great performance there, which is what he said. And when you do watch it, there is elements of that, but I've seen enough of Manny Pacquiao and that style. You know, yes, he did go in and he did throw a lot of shots. I didn't feel like a lot of them landed. I feel like we said it earlier in the show. I feel like it was more Mario Barrios not being great than Manny Pacquiao being great. I've seen we've never been a massive fan of Mario Barrios. We've always said he's one of the weaker champions, but I've never seen him perform. But no, I thought that was a bad performance. Now, I feel like he boxed the occasion more than the actual fight. So yeah, I'm not smoke screened by it, to be honest. But it was not, like I say, I like Manny Pacquiao. I love Manny Pacquiao like everyone else does. But to be fair, he could have won the fight, but he
should have won the fight. Yeah, let's be honest. He did. For most people, he won the fight. Do you want to see him again, Paul? That's the main question. Because there's talks about rematches and clauses and all that kind of jazz. Nah.
I just said he fights him again. I think it's a completely different outcome. I think it would be if Barrios is good. As I said, I don't know how good he is, but I agree. You fight the occasion. It was a bit of awe, and you're never. It's a bit like when Nogueira came in against Fury, and it was like, oh my god, he's amazing.
Oh, Ngannou, yeah,
Ngannou, and AJ just knocked him out and down the pipe very quickly because he was like, well, I can't afford to not take him quite seriously in case he does have that power. It's the same thing. If you rematch again, he trains differently. His tactics are different. He ties him out quite early on, and I think it'd be a completely different fight. But as I said, it's a one-off fight. You know, he gets to ride off in the sunset again, or come back if he wants to. Look, he's done enough to earn what he wants to do. If he wants to go and fight again, fair play to him. It's not for anyone to say, well, we don't want to see it. People still pay for him. Why people still put him money on?
They do, yeah.
And then why would he not? And why would the promoters not try and put the fight on? And if he picks a performance like that again, which as I said, I don't think he would, then I don't think he should be at that level. I don't think he needs the money, obviously, but maybe that's easy. It's hard to walk away from these things. When that's your love, it's easy to go, oh, he's too old, he shouldn't be doing this. But a fight is a fight at the end of the day, and they always bet themselves to be able to do one more fight. So I've got nothing against that kind of view of letting them go another round.
I always get the vibes of Rocky IV when Apollo Creed's in the swimming pool and he sees Ivan Drago on the telly knocking out dudes left, right, and center, coming over to the States, and he gets that, I can beat you. I may be old, but I can beat you. I always get those vibes with these sort of fights to make comebacks, so it's one of them. It's what it is. Before we move on to Dave's news, I know you've got a bit of input as well, Paul. Performance of the week, boys. We always finish with the performance of the week. There's a lot to choose from. It's quite obvious, but where are you two boys going?
Well, it's Usyk,
yeah, it's definitely Usyk. I would love to go Bam. It's just unfortunate that that Usyk's gone and done what he done on the same night. It would have been Bam otherwise, but yeah, I mean, Usyk's just shown something else. Just when you think he couldn't get greater, he's got greater. So that's why it's Usyk for me, mate. Fucking legend of the sport, class act.
Micky?
Second that, easy.
Yeah, that's the hat trick. We keep the match ball. It's a shame to say Bam Rodriguez's performance is probably one of the best he's performed so far. So it's unfortunate on the same weekend he's up against Usyk, isn't he? So yeah, fantastic, mate. So coming to the end of the show now, it's time for it's your bit, Dave. You do the special announcements.
Yeah, so it's David McDonald and Micky. You do it. Do the dongs.
Dong.
There you go. That's not a bad one.
You can't do the news about the dongs. You know, we
No.
must have realised that.
Former title challenger Abraham Nova is stepping in to fight Raymond Ford on August 16th in Riyadh. This is after Anthony Kakachi withdrew with a back injury last week. Abraham Nova comes out with the old puppet that's got the old fucking blonde beard. Yeah, and he has all that sort of going on in his pressers and stuff like that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
What do you reckon of that fight then, Dave?
Well, we said last week that Kakachi had pulled out. He's going through the injuries he had pre-Cordina. I don't think this is a great replacement, to be honest. At least Ray Ford's keeping busy, which is good for him. I'll predict now. I think Ray Ford stops him. He's a limited fighter, contender, if you like, fringe contender. That's the only benefit I can take out of it, Dave. I'm just glad Ray Ford is staying busy and he's got to fight against someone as a name. Let's be honest. You've had concerns with Abraham Nova's beard in the past being too big, with punch resistance, all that kind of thing. He's more famous for his beard than as a boxer. So, yeah, it's a keep busy for Raymond Ford, Dave. I can't take any more from that, and I'm glad he's keeping busy rather than sitting on the sidelines doing nothing. So it's too good to be sitting on the sidelines.
Oh, fair enough.
You?
Oh, what? So...
Either of you. If you know Abraham Nova, Paul, and Ray Ford. Dave, your thoughts on the fight Nova?
No fights in that. I'm still on that.
That's all right, mate. It's an okay fight. It's basically they found a decent enough name to put him in with after Kakachi. That's how I feel about it.
Card builder, as you like to call him. Card builder.
Yeah, I don't see any jeopardy here. I think Ray Ford wins and he wins well.
Yeah.
I think like I say, the puppet would be probably the most exciting thing about it. He comes out with a puppet that looks exactly like him, Paul. Yeah. Like a spitting image. But yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? Am I overly excited about the fight? No.
Should have been no Shaki Foster, shouldn't it? But
yeah, that would have been good. Yeah. It's Eddie Reynoso says he will no longer train or associate with fighters if he can't oversee their nutrition and supplements. Tammy Mungai and Francisco Rodriguez failed drug tests early this year. Mungai trained with Reynoso, and Rodriguez was sponsored by him. But not only that, Canelo failed when he was with him. There's multiple. So, Paul, if you don't know, Eddie Reynoso is the trainer of the trainer of Canelo when Canelo failed a drugs test, and a lot of his fighters are failing drugs tests currently.
Yeah.
So he's trying to get himself out, but saying he needs to see what they're doing now, their supplements and their nutrition, to try and sort of make out that he doesn't sort of know. But that's what he's come out and said.
He's just trying to cover his own arse, basically. Is what
because he's getting a lot of heat. He's getting the one that's getting,
Mate, it looks more bait now because we didn't realise that he was his fighter's nutritionist. We just thought he was his trainer. So I was saying the other week, well, what? It's a coincidence he's in the same gym, but surely they should be looking at the nutritionist. I didn't realise Eddie was the nutritionist as well. So it looks very bait. It looks very obvious. And him saying, I'm not doing it anymore. So it'd be interesting to see what his fighters are like off the juice. Allegedly off the juice, So
yeah.
Well, exactly. And we've seen what happens with fighters when they're not on the juice anymore. Because of recent, people that were absolute, Conor Benn being one of them, Alicia Gardner, banging people out prior to it, get pissed hot and having a knockout since. They can't take a skin off a rice pudding now. So it looks iffy. So but we'll see how these fighters are after they're clean. Paul mentioned this earlier, so he'd have something to say about it. So I'll go to him next. Turki Al-Sheikh announces a partnership with DAZN that there'll be no more pay-per-view pricing for Riyadh season cards and ring events, starting with a Ring 4 on November 22nd. All events will be available for free for all DAZN subscribers, which is the way it should be. If you're paying your subscription, you shouldn't have to pay money on top. But so what do you reckon? Your thoughts on this, Michael McGrath?
I've got loads of thoughts on this one because I'm the money man, as you always know, and these are very interesting times and stats.
We'll go easy, mate. We've been going for 2 hours, but yeah, go on.
I'll make it brief then. Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn are idiots. Because I said that in the pod ages ago when I came on the early ones, and I might have said on the WhatsApp group as well. I said, ultimately, what is Turki Al going to do? Is they get all their expertise to set all these super fights up, learn from the best of how to do this, and then he's going to take all the fighters and set his own promotion up. It's exactly what he's done with Super Boxing with Dana White. Pay-per-view will be over for the time being because they can afford to do it. Eddie Hearn on Saturday mentioned it. He weren't very happy about it. Not Eddie Hearn, so Frank Warren wasn't very happy about the end of the pay-per-view model. Because ultimately what's going to happen is all their contract boxers over the next 4 to 5 years, they're all going to leave. They're all going to go and fight for Turk Al-Shir and Super Boxing. That's what's going to happen. Pay-per-view models are outdated. As you rightly said, if you're subscribing for something, you shouldn't have to pay on top of that. That's what the subscription's for. Now, what will happen is the Zone will probably put the price up with subscription over the next couple of years to maybe $9.99 or $13.99. So
that's more than that now.
Yeah, it's more than that now.
No, I think it's $7.99. It starts from the basic pack.
$14.99 now. Yeah,
it's $14.99.
Oh, is it? Okay, so it's $14.99. So, which is a pay-per-view itself per month anyway, right? So you're still paying for to watch boxing. So it might even go up to $17.99 over the next 2-3 years. You'll see it creep up slightly. But if you're getting super fights like he's been promoting all the time, then you won't really complain about it. But Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren, they're going to be out of the game because there won't be any fighters left. They've talked in the past when they've been interviewed about these things, saying, "Oh well, you can't just learn; it's expertise, and we've got all the knowledge and all the." No matter, he'll do whatever he wants, wherever he wants. You saw at Wembley, as you said, Dave, on the WhatsApp when I said, "Oh, the card's a bit weak," as you said as well. But I said, well, sometimes you get the super fights, but we're so used now already after 2 years of having every card from these kind of headline main events from top to bottom, having 3 or 4 super fights or big fights on them. And what will happen is Turk Al-Shir will do the same thing. He will have to change the way the boxing is done. And we've said right at the beginning, when you started this podcast before, I've always mentioned that boxing needs a UFC style, and what the Turk Al-Shir is doing is giving the fans and boxing the respect and the credibility it deserves. A UFC style fight package, and I'll tell you what will happen: fighters' pay over the next 10 years will decrease, because what will happen is once he's got the monopoly on it, the fight bonuses and the payment structure will be set, a bit like UFC. Still get paid really good money, but once you take the pay-per-view model out of it, there's a lot of money that comes in that goes to the boxers. So all of a sudden, you've got a company that is running on unlimited funds at the moment. But as they start getting all the big boxers and all the big fights, the pay will start to decrease and it will change and go less and less. And it'll be set wages for set fighters. And then there'll be bonuses on top, like UFC do a fight of the night, knockout of the night. And that's what, and people will criticize their pay model for a long time. But as Dana's always said, people like John Jones, when you're at the top, you're making millions and millions and millions of pounds. And the inactivity of fighters will stop as well. This whole once a year thing will be a lot more than that. You'll see the top fighters fighting 3 or 4 times a year because they want to earn their money. So I think it's going to be ultimately good for fans to watch. I don't think long term in the next 10 years, boxers are particularly going to be happy with the pay structure. But I mean, you're going to get a proper ranking system. You're going to get proper unification of titles, and there'll be the Ring Magazine title, or the Ring title will be the undisputed title that everyone will want to box for in the next 10 years. So that's my 2. So I didn't go too long. It's 4 minutes. So that was my
I hope it's earlier than that, Paul. The next 10 years. Well, I'm hoping the next 5 years. The Ring Magazine belt. It's the rest of the sanctioning bodies are a joke at the moment. We just spoke there about Pacquiao. So you've got fighters paying sanctioning fees in a queue, having eliminators to fighting for global belts, silver belts, interim belts, having 3% taken out of their purse, and that's without what they've got to pay their trainers, their promoters, their managers. And then Manny Pacquiao, irrelevant of him being a legend, gets off the sofa and gets a world title. So he's leapfrogged everybody. So everybody's saying, what is the point in paying these sanctioning fees to WBC? Scrap them off, go for the Ring Magazine, because it's 1 versus 2. You work your way into the ranking system, no sanctioning fees. Yeah, so already now, so I think you just say I agree with. I just hope it's quicker than 10 years rather than, it's 5 years rather than 10,
I think the reason why I say 10 years, the reason why I say that is because fighters that you've got now, the current top 5 fighters in every division, let's say, over fighters over 30, 31, they're not going to fight for the pay. Look at Tyson Fury, they do it for the big money because they want the 30, 40 million. They're not going to be able to fight for less than what they're doing now. So it'll take 10 years. I agree, yeah. That's what I say. It will take 10 years to get the structure, with the payment structure going down to what, I don't know, say every championship fight is a 3 million purse, let's say, as an argument. That's what it will take. It'll take 10 years to get to that level of what the purse is, and that being a standard issue in boxing. And I think that the good thing with that is that will filter down to the smaller promotions and smaller boxers a lot quicker. So I think that's where you'll be coming, where you've got people that are having to fight to earn, a couple of grand. I think that will change because there'll be a better process to get in the category of you fight him and then you go 3 places up. And I think it's a massive, the UFC has got the model and it's been fucking brilliant for the last 20 years. The model works, it's fit. But what people are moaning about at the moment, slightly UFC more than boxing, but this will relate to it, is since TKO took over, which is the TKO Super sort of rebranding or restructuring of UFC, the big pay-per-view cards, which always used to have 3 or 4 really good fights on it, you're starting to see now it's quantity over quality. So you're getting fight weeks every week now, like boxing. So every Saturday now you're getting a UFC event, and then every month you're getting a pay-per-view. There's a lot more UFC fights. So what they're doing is that there's no real superstars that they're putting on cards. It's like they'll main event and they'll pick the undercard, which is not as weak. A bit like boxing now. They're following the boxing model of that. So instead of having every fight as a super card, there's a super main event, and then there might be a co-main event, and the rest of it is kind of cannon fodder, so to speak. And I think that's what boxing will go back to, because you can't, and we've seen the last 2.5 years, you can't keep putting on super fight, because you run thin very quickly. Because if plans don't go the way you suggest, like as we said with Usyk fighting him and him fighting him, oh, he's lost to him now. That super fight we want isn't there. There's not as much interest in Daniel Dubois versus Usyk. There would have been AJ Usyk if AJ beat Fury. So you've got to be careful what you wish for. But I think ultimately it's going to be fantastic for the fans. The next 10 years in boxing is going to be tremendous once this is done. And Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren and all the other promoters are going to start. They will look now of protecting their boxers. So I think you're going to see a real shift. It'll be interesting to see what happens in Riyadh season with their boxers, Eddie Hearn's boxers and Frank Warren's boxers, and how many of them start coming off of the Riyadh season cards purely because the way that it's going, they're being pushed out and squeezed out.
Right, I'm moving on. Fuck, I've got work tomorrow. The WBO have now officially ordered Callum Smith to defend his WBO interim light heavyweight belt against David Morrell next. Dimitri Bivol will be allowed to keep his WBO light world heavyweight world trilogy fight against Beterbiev. You having Smith versus David Morrell?
Have you seen my tweet on Twitter?
Yeah, you said Smith spanks him.
Yeah, I'm not impressed with Morrell. I said last week, I'm not impressed with him since he's moved up to 168. He looks void of ideas. He's lazy, as you said. Right, doesn't know what to do. I think Smith's in the form of his life after the Boatsy fight. I'm well up for it. I think Smith's boxing. And that's we were talking this time last year about David Morrell being the guy at 175. He's not. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm up for it. I'm back in the Brit for a change, Dave.
Yeah, I think it's a good fight. I think it's I'm with you. I lean towards Smith in this fight, based on what I've seen from Morrell of lately. What you've done for me, what you've done for me lately. But it could be a turning point for Morrell, though. That's the only thing. If he done a number on Smith, that could be the springboard in the division that he needs. Because for me, he's been very lackluster. But at the moment, I don't see it. But it'd be a great win for him should he get it. Mickey, do you know any of these two?
Yep. I know both of these fighters. Not as much. I know more about Smith, but he seems to be in great form. I don't know much about Morrell, but I like Smith. I think he's entertaining. I think he offers a lot, and I think it'll be a good fight. Yeah. If he wins this, what happens next for Smith?
He should be then ready to fight for the world title. So, but Bivol and Beterbiev are going to fight again for the third time. So he's going to have to wait a while. But he'd be the mandatory for the WBO.
He wins that, he goes to the fight one. Them two, I mean, they're a level above again. It's so difficult because them two are just unbelievably level ahead.
So it's basically, Paul, it's rather than stripping Dimitri Bivol of the title, they're making Morrell and Smith fight and taking 3% off them.
Yeah,
that's all. That's basically all it is. So they're just waiting. They keep him busy in a competitive fight while they do it.
The two big fights are the ones they wanted.
Yeah,
Right. So the last piece of news of the night, and it came out. We sort of see it coming. Josh Taylor has now officially announced his retirement from boxing at the age of 34 due to an eye injury. The Tartan Tornado reached the pinnacle of the sport when he became undisputed ring, WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO super lightweight world champion, and claimed a place in the ring's pound-for-pound list. I'll speak on this for a second. I think when he was undisputed, I think he wasn't treated very fairly. I don't think he got the credit that he deserved. He was the first Brit to ever do it. And the promotion probably had a lot to do with it. He didn't really have anyone screaming from the rooftops for him. But based on merit, he'll go down as an all-time great, and rightly so. He's the first to do it. For me, he should have been promoted a little bit better. But yeah, he's had to retire. He's got an eye injury now. His run that he went on to win that was a fantastic run. He beat some quality fighters, and he'll go down as a British great. So yeah, good luck to Josh Taylor in what he does in the future. But it's the last we'll see of him in the ring.
It's one of my favourite fighters of all time. You know, I used to love a Josh Taylor night in Glasgow. Flowers, Scotland. I'm not even Scottish. I used to get the goose pimples. You just nailed it there, mate. The run that he had. He come out the Olympics. He was Olympian. Was kind of rushed through, if you like. They threw him in against an elite operating Victor Pascal. This is it now. It's too far for Josh. This is the night, you know, we see how good he really is. Not only did he floor him, he outscored him. Josh Taylor's arrived 7 fights on the trot against undefeated fighters, picking up all full belts. Unfortunately, it was during COVID when he became undisputed. We saw undisputed on Saturday. People saying the first Brit to become undisputed, possibly Daniel Dubois. Slow the fuck down. Josh Taylor done it in 2020. You don't give him the respect the guy deserves. And all people remember him for is the Jack Catchall. Did he win or didn't he win? And it's kind of tarnished his legacy. Josh Taylor's one of the best fighters this island's produced. And it pisses me off with the media because when Josh Taylor's on the crest of a wave, he's British. But when he's on the slide, he's Scottish. A bit like Andy Murray. And it's a fucking shit show. We like to do that in the UK. We like to, you know, to set them up and then knock them down when they fall. And it's a shame. But he has had the eye injury, Dave. He's had injuries going forward. And we saw against Echo Esserman, it's just not there anymore. We thought it was a weight draining problem. He looks out of sorts, and I'm glad he's called it a day. Don't ruin the legacy that you've got, but I still think it needs championing more because he is the guy. He was the guy. And I'll ask you a question before Micky has a comment, mate. And it's probably more aimed at you with your Scottish heritage and whatnot. It's a question that comes up for all Scots. Who was better, Josh Taylor or Ken Buchanan?
Oh, Ken Buchanan is an all-time great.
They're the two best Scots, I think, off the top of my head.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, but that's a tough one. You got based on merit and based on what his achievements. You got. It's
an Ali Usyk again, isn't it? Two different eras, going through his resume, achievements, unbeaten fighters, style. It's a great conversation.
Yeah, it is a great conversation. Yeah. I think he will be. I think based on the undisputed thing, I think you got a edge towards Josh Taylor, but Ken Buchanan was a Scottish great as well.
Yeah.
Micky, what's your thoughts, mate?
One of it, but I remember, was it? He went to Vegas. Ramirez, he fought in Vegas.
That's only become undisputed. Yeah.
That won all 4 belts. I mean, going to Vegas, which is obviously, Brits don't really have a successful time.
Can I just interrupt you there, Paul, before you carry on? You don't. The shit thing about that. We had a Brit going to America to become the undisputed champion of the world, and not one UK broadcast covered it. We had to get that on a legal stream. Do you remember, Dave, on ESPN Plus? Disgraceful. Absolutely.
Yeah, I downloaded it. I remember because at the time it was a weird one. That wasn't it. I wonder why that was. That is
he said about promotion. It was.
He never had anyone backing him. Yeah, and he was just doing things on the QT. He was mad.
To some respect, that even goes to cement him even more of a legend when you never had the backing. You look at your Anthony Joshua's and everyone else, UK based. They get the promotion juggernaut behind them. And they're superstars, and I think that's what went against Josh Taylor. He weren't a superstar.
Campbell Hatton had better backing than him.
Yeah. So I think that's the only thing that you can say is that he never had that juggernaut behind him, and that's why he is looked upon as that, not as a great Brit as he should have been on his boxing merit. But to go on his own, I mean, that was a great fight. I love that. And obviously the Catterall thing, the first fight soon after the Hydro, that was he was a great boxer, really good boxer. But I think you're right. I think I didn't watch his last fight, but I watched his first loss. Who was that against?
Teofimo. Jack Catterall part 2, wasn't it? Or Teofimo Lopez. I think it's Teofimo.
Teofimo was, yeah.
And that's against a world-class fighter as well. So,
and that again was in America. And I thought that was, that was he fought well, but it was a loss, and that was his first loss, and then he kind of never recovered from that. Obviously, the Catterall thing was obviously debatable whether he won or lost the second one. But how long has he had the eye injury for? Because he had the eye surgery, didn't he? Maybe it was a long.
Yeah, it's a long term thing. Yeah.
Good time to retire, and hopefully he doesn't come back because he's had the injury. Let's hope he doesn't try and pull a Rocky moment and try and get his life.
Well, Rocky just got over brain damage, so But that is it, lads, for David McDonald and the Dongs.
Thank you, kind sir. 2 hours 18.
Yeah.
I think we're going to call it a night. I think it's one of the longest ones we've done in a long, long time. Before we say our goodbyes and fuck off, Mickey, what's happening with your What's the Story Night is Glory podcast, mate? Are we still rocking and rolling? What's happening with the content, mate?
Oh, it's been off the board at the moment. I've had no time. I'm busy working at the moment. So hopefully after the summer holidays, we'll regain it and get it back on. So watch this space.
Lovely jobby. Mr. Holland, anything to add, mate?
No, mate. I'm going to go and try and have a shower and that now.
Sleepy time?
Sleepy time, yeah.
Mickey, sleepy time?
I've got 6 kids running around downstairs. No, not sleepy time. All the kids.
No wonder you were late coming on, mate.
Oh, it's a disaster, honestly. I won't go into it, but yeah. Listen, well done. Thanks, I mean, sorry I was late, but joy to being on as always.
Thanks for coming, mate.
Anytime. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Anytime you want to come on, you're more than welcome, mate. So yeah, that's the end of podcast episode 137. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe via Spotify and via YouTube. And we'll be back on Thursday for a bit of a preview of the weekend going forward. We've got a bit of Xander Zayas, a bit of British action as well. Not a lot going on, but there's some boxing action to get your teeth stuck into. So until then, take care. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Hope you've enjoyed this podcast and enjoy the bloody boxing. Lads, peace out. I'll catch you soon.
See you later, lads.